Welcome to Boise, Idaho in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Today it's Toledo against number 22 Utah State. The WAC champs undefeated and with a 10-win season. Tom Hart with Mike Bellotti. Quint Kesenick is down on the blue turf. Happy to have you along with us today from Boise on a chilly day for football, and two teams ecstatic to be here. Utah State first conference title, outright conference title since 1936 when they were in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. And plenty of Aggie faithful have made the drive up from Logan. Utah State won the toss, elected to defer. It's 40 degrees here at kickoff. Bernard Reedy, one of the best in the nation, deep to return. And he's got it at the 7. Reedy has room, and he gets taken down just past the 30-yard line.
He is so scary, and that is why they like to have the ball in his hands. Every time he touches it is a threat to go all the way.
One of the best in the nation, and let's say hello now to Austin Danton. The senior quarterback is making just his 3rd start of the season, but his 25th career start.
Yeah, and he won the coin flip to start the first game of the season, then sort of sat around for a while as Terrence Owen led the team to 8 straight victories, but was pressed into service in the last game through 5 touchdowns.
Oh, this is a big story for Toledo. The nation's leading tackler, Dan Moles, on the special teams unit, being helped off the field by the Toledo athletic training staff.
That is not a good sign for their defense.
But for now, it's the offense, and Austin Danton, the senior from Tallahassee, Florida, threw for 5 touchdowns on senior night against Akron last time out. Flea flicker to start. Danton with time, a wobbler over the middle, caught. This is Reedy, and he gets taken down at the 31-yard line.
You always talk about in the bowl game, last game of the season, you throw out the kitchen sink. This is the flea flicker. You can see it. They toss the ball, hand it off, toss it back to the quarterback, and then they find Reedy down the field. No huddle, so we got to go quick.
37-yard pickup from Danton to Reedy. McCade Brady with the tackle for Utah State. No huddle, shotgun attack, and Danton will hand it off this time to David Fluellen. Fluellen was banged up last week against Akron, didn't play, but he picks up nearly 10 on his first carry. Zach Vigil with the stop.
And that was a great sign for the Toledo running game. Not just that Fluellen carried the ball, but he was untouched for the first 5 yards down the field. And when you get it back that kind of a head start, he's going to make a ton of yardage.
8th in the nation with 133 yards a game, 13 touchdowns on the season for Fluellen. And a tough senior year for the quarterback, Austin Danton, banished to the bench for the most part. Fluellen again, left side, and he picks up a couple more to take it to the 20. And there's Moles getting attention on the sideline for Toledo.
Both of these teams are really great at defense in the red zone, so it'll be very interesting. The offenses are in tough sledding down here inside that 20-yard line.
Dan checks and will look back to the sideline. Toledo offense, which was on fire last week against Akron under the direction of Danton, and with David Pascal, the backup running back, seeing action. Now Reedy motions. They want to go to him in the flat, and it's incomplete. The ball is live. Now it's whistled dead. Kyler Fackrell, the talented freshman, with the stop, sniffing out the play to Reedy.
You always have to be careful with the bubble-type screens to the sideline, whether those are a lateral or a forward pass. That was ruled a forward pass, so it's just incomplete. Had it been a lateral, it would have been a live ball.
3rd and 7 now for Toledo. And head coach Matt Campbell, Mount Union product. He was happy to see his guys get another Division III national title last night. Utah State will shift as the play comes in for Toledo. Danton, long pass, short of the sticks, and drops Cordell Scott, the Illinois transfer.
This is a great chess match when these teams go to the survey mode, where the offense will look back over the sideline, because the defenses will also change their call. They'll try to force them into one look. Either they're going to come with pressure, then they'll step back and play coverage.
37-yard attempt for Jeremiah Detmer, sophomore from Hilliard, Ohio. And he sneaks it inside the left upright. So Toledo able to score on its opening possession. Question remains as to whether or not the nation's leading tackler will be on the field here in a moment.
That's a good start for Toledo in that they need to get a fast start. Utah State has not given up a touchdown and has outscored everybody 121-6 in the first quarter this year. Toledo needs a fast start to keep in this game.
It's game day, folks, and Frank Muir is in the house.
Thanks, Rick, and welcome, fans, to the Famous Idaho Potato Bowl. We have a terrific matchup today on the blue turf. So grab some potato skins and let's go.
This family used Capital One Venture Miles to come home for the holidays.
And we welcome those of you who just watched the amazing comeback by Arizona over Nevada out in Albuquerque. Tom Hart, Mike Bellotti, and Quint Kessenich in Boise, Idaho for Toledo and number 22, Utah State. And a major injury on the very first play of the game on the opening kickoff. The nation's leading tackler, Dan Moles, the middle linebacker for the Rockets, was banged up. He is on the sideline, as you can see, without his helmet. Toledo's opening drive ended up in 3, and Utah State will get the ball here in a moment. Chuck Jacobs and Travis Reynolds back to return. From about the 2, this is Jacobs. And upended at the 20-yard line. Well, here's what Toledo is missing from their middle linebacker.
Only about 160-some tackles leading the nation, and he plays on special teams. That's one of the things that they talked about this year, that their good players also played on special teams. A bad sign is they're not letting him keep his helmet, so whatever type of injury, he's not going to play for a while at least.
So the senior from North Royalton, Ohio, will have to watch from the sideline. First team academic All-America as well, and that is a big blow for the Toledo defense. Chucky Keaton is the starting quarterback for the Aggies of Utah State. He's got Kerwynn Williams with him, and play action in the first play. Keaton has to scramble. He's very good at that and manages to pick up maybe a yard. Let's go down to the blue turf now and Quint Kessenich.
Tom, the medical staff down here is taking a cautious wait-and-see approach. It was Moles hobbling off to the sideline, really needed help to walk. He's been leaning up against his training table for about the past 10 minutes. He has not stood up on his own power. His helmet is off. They have not put him through a battery of tests yet. What it looks like is they're waiting here to let his symptoms subside, and then they're going to put him through a battery of tests.
Quint, thank you. And so Toledo going without their middle linebacker here. And a little option. Keaton will keep it himself once again and gets just past the line of scrimmage, setting up a 3rd and long. Chucky Keaton has really developed, Coach, as a quarterback over the last year.
He's done a tremendous job. He's increased his efficiency by working on his footwork and his repetitive accuracy. And that's one thing they talked about, because it goes with, he can run the football. He's a dangerous two-way threat, but his efficiency is much better this year.
As far as linebackers are concerned, Robert Bell has slid over to middle linebacker. Trent Voss is on the field with Junior Silvestri for the linebacking core now for the Rockets. 3rd and 8 for Keaton. He has time. Caught for a first down for Utah State. It's the difference between an athlete and a quarterback.
Absolutely. Great physical catch. He knew he was going to get hit. When you throw over the middle, you got to be prepared for a collision, for contact. This ball is thrown up there. The guy goes up, does a great job, takes a heck of a hit from the free safety, but hangs on to the football.
Opening possession for the Aggies of Utah State, undefeated in the final season of WAC football. An outright conference chance for the first time since the 1930s. Here's a screen play. It gets down to the 40-yard line to Bruce Natson, a freshman from Oakland Park, Florida.
And I'll tell you what, that had a chance to go. That was a jailbreak screen. Had he been able to keep his balance, there was a lot of blue turf ahead of him.
Should see a lot of screens from both offenses today.
Yes, I think that's one way to counter the zone blitz type thing, is to screen into the blitz. You'd like to throw it to that side where they vacate people in the defense.
2nd and 8 now for Utah State. Chucky Keaton, a school record 66% completion percentage. And to the out route and another completion. And fighting for the first down is Travis Reynolds. And it's a fresh set of downs once again for the Aggies as we meet Utah State's impact players.
Well, we talked about Chucky Keaton already, what he does. Kerwynn Williams, though, is the guy, just a home run threat. Out of the backfield, touch the ball, and can take it all the way with his speed. Can also be a kick returner at the next level.
Kerwynn Williams is 11th in the nation in all-purpose yardage. She doesn't have a touch yet today on Utah State's first possession. Pass midfield and sweep. And there's Keaton, and he's thrown for a loss. Pardon me, Kerwynn Williams thrown for a loss. It was Voss who made the play in there.
Great job of sniffing out the fly sweep, giving it to him on the move, so he's going to be that much faster. But they played a great job of contain on the outside. Super job of defense of setting the edge.
Ben Pike getting some action as well at linebacker for Toledo with Dan Moles out. Play action, Chucky Keaton has Williams short, and he'll lose Pike by turning around and launch this one towards the sideline.
One of the things that his coach talked about was the maturity to understand when to throw the ball away. And that certainly was one. When you're 13 yards behind your line of scrimmage and you're trapped back there, throw it out of bounds past the down marker so that you save the down.
WAC Coach of the Year Gary Anderson and his offensive coordinator Matt Wells challenged Chucky Keaton in practice the other day. He said, we want you to be perfect, 38 for 38. Anything else is a bad day. Chucky kind of rolled his eyes, and he went out and he went 42 for 44 with one drop and one missed throw. That was okay at the end of things. 3rd and 17. Another screen opportunity, and that one is busted up. Bruce Natson had nowhere to go. And now punting situation for the Aggies. Robert Bell with the stop.
One of the best ways to stop the screen is to stop it before it gets started. Be there as the receiver catches the ball and eliminate him getting downfield with the blocks of the offensive lineman who release.
Tyler Bennett to punt it away to the always dangerous Bernard Reedy. First team All-MAC performer as a punt returner and wide receiver. Second team All-Conference as a kickoff returner, but a whistle will stop this one. And Utah State has had punting issues this season. They led on the road at Wisconsin before 2 bad punts gave the Badgers the victory. Kenzel Doe with a long punt return touchdown for Brett Bielema.
They like Tyler Bennett, though, in terms of his ability to drop the ball down inside the 20, those kicks that can be down.
Illegal substitution. Defense, 12 men on the field. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
That can happen sometimes in a bowl game. You're trying to get a lot of young kids into the game, some people that have impressed you in bowl practice, but they forget who's in on the downs like that.
3 weeks of practice for both of these teams. Bennett with a great looking punt, and all Reedy can do is take a fair catch inside the 10. A 45-yard punt for Tyler Bennett, the senior from Phoenix, and still without Dan Moles on the field for the Rockets.
It's game day, folks, and Frank Muir is in the house.
Thanks, Rick, and welcome, fans, to the Famous Idaho Potato Bowl. We have a terrific matchup today on the blue turf. So grab some potato skins and let's go.
Watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
And welcome to the Famous Idaho Potato Bowl on ESPN as part of Capital One Bowl Week. Quick start here in the foothills at Boise and Toledo with the lead over number 22 Utah State. And though we're 2,500 miles away, we want to send along our condolences, our thoughts and prayers still with the families in the community and the victims in Newtown, Connecticut. But for now, football gives us a break. And so Tom Hart with Mike Bellotti, and so far today, a very tough break for the Toledo Rockets. They lost the nation's leading tackler in the opening kickoff.
Yeah, the first place had been good and bad for Toledo. Bad is that they lost their leading tackler, Dan Moles, on the first play in the kickoff. He just takes a hit and can't quite get to the sideline. It's just really, I don't know if it's a shoulder or what it is, but it has to be helped off. And then the first play, they run a flea flicker on offense and sets up the field goal. So tough, though, to lose Dan Moles. He's the heart of that defense.
Family with him. His dad, Andrew, was down there a moment ago. He played at Kentucky. The senior Moles not likely to see action today. And so back on offense for Toledo. And Austin Danton, the senior quarterback, in for the second series. He got the start today, his second straight start, after being on the bench basically all season. And Llewellyn with his carry. Let's check in once again with Quint Kessler.
Toledo athletic trainer John Walters telling me that they are going to reevaluate him in 10 or 15 minutes, but it's extremely doubtful that they're going to let him back in the game. When you think about the senior and how with their 4-3 defense, everything funnels to him and he can make those tackles and run the middle of the field. Multiple players are going to have to pick it up for Toledo on defense.
Quint, thanks. Back to that in a moment. 2nd and 4 here for Toledo. And Reedy goes in motion. Llewellyn again, straight up the middle, and he's got a little bit of room and lowers his shoulder for a first down. Coach, if it is concussion-like symptoms for Moles, what does waiting 15 minutes do for the training staff?
Well, what they've done is they've probably given him a password that they're going to ask him to repeat to them, and they have 2 different people have given him 2 different passwords. If he can retain that information and answer those questions correctly, they may consider he going back in the game.
Incomplete as Danton got put on his back. Alex Molik was the intended receiver. Austin Danton started the first game of the season against Arizona. It was planned rotation with Terrence Owens. They each got 2 series. We should still see Owens sometime today.
We should. He is healthy. He has been practicing, but they just felt off of the last game performance. But Austin Danton gives them the confidence that they can win this football game. But they'll go with the hot hand eventually, whichever quarterback plays the best.
Terrence Owens did not practice at all last week, still recovering from an ankle injury. And last week is when they did the bowl week installation and game preparation, and Austin Danton got all of those reps. But Owens did practice this week. On 2nd and 10, nowhere to go for Llewellyn that time.
And this is Utah State has talked about they need to stop the running game of Toledo. Toledo is a run-first team. They run 55% of the time. And early on, they were having much success running straight ahead. Utah State has to stop that and be more physical at the point of attack.
3rd and 9 now.
This is that dial-a-zone blitz time for Utah State.
It may seem like they're bringing more, but typically they only bring 4. And they bring an extra man here. Danton down the sideline. Incomplete, but a flag on the play. Willie Davis, their talented cornerback, had the coverage on Justin Olak.
Will Davis is their lockdown cover guy. They love him in man-to-man, but he got fooled that time. It was a 2-move route. He got caught pushing or peeking and then had a collision with the receiver while the ball was in the air.
CFO West crew made up of officials called Big 12, Mountain West, and Southland games.
Defense, number 17. Automatic first down, spot of the foul.
You can watch as this transpires. He just puts his hands on him too much right there, and the ball is in the air. He can get away with that if the ball weren't thrown in that area.
Davis has 5 straight games with a pick, leads the nation in passes defended. And the line judge blows his whistle and comes in. There was still plenty of time left on the game clock. 12 seconds, probably on the play clock. No explanation.
They just had to check something for their own sake.
Well, they got it straight. And now Austin Danton, the senior from Tallahassee, tries to do the same. Tempo will be a key for both of these offenses. As Bernard Reedy goes in motion, play clock at 1. When they get the snap off in time, Danton over the middle, crossing route, and Reedy, who's so dangerous coming across the grain, is brought down at the line of scrimmage by Zach Vigil. Time now to take a look at the impact players for the Rockets of Toledo.
Well, we've talked about Llewellyn and his influence in the ring. Bernard Reedy is really the guy because he plays on not just offense, but special teams. He's a great turner. And Alonzo Russell is their big receiver down the field. They like him to go up in high-point balls against DBs.
Both Reedy and Russell are deep threats. Russell has 3 touchdowns of 59 yards or more this season, is coming off 139 yards in the finale against Akron. 2nd and 10. Llewellyn straight up the hash mark, and he dives forward near the 45-yard line. There was some question as to how healthy David Llewellyn would be today after suffering a overturned ankle a couple of weeks ago. How does he look to you, Coach?
He looks very impressive to me. In addition to having great vision and patience, and the ball was snapped there a little bit early. That happens sometimes if it's crowded and noise. The center's waiting for a particular sound or a signal. Sometimes he sees it and it's snapped early.
Zach Kerwynn, first team All-MAC center, got a little anxious.
That's one of the issues with the tempo and the pace of the offense. That third down, they were shifting and trying to get into something. Ball got snapped way early.
And so a missed opportunity for Toledo. Vince Penza, junior from Canfield, Ohio, on to punt it away. McCade Brady and Cameron Webb waiting to return. They'll let it roll to the 15. Only 14 punts from Penza have been returned this season, and another one that goes without a return after a 44-yarder, and their leader still on the bench.
The passion, the pride, the perseverance, the commitment to get cash benefits directly to you when you can really use the money to help pay bills. Like when you're hurt.
Thanks, I needed that.
Aflac, an official partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Join us at ProjectLuna.com.
This is Joe Wood's first day of work, and his new boss told him two things: cook what you love and save your money. Joe doesn't know it yet, but he'll work his way up from busser to waiter to chef before opening a restaurant specializing in fish and game from the great Northwest. He'll start investing early. He'll find some good people to help guide him, and he'll set money aside from his first day of work to his last, which isn't rocket science, it's just common sense. From TD Ameritrade.
What's better than hand-scooped ice cream? Hand-scooped ice cream between two chocolate chip cookies. The chocolate chip cookie ice cream sandwich. Free with a Memphis barbecue burger combo. Only at Hardee's and Carl's Jr.
ESPN College Football, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, is brought to you by the Idaho Potato Commission, Aflac, official partner of the Heisman Trophy, and ProjectLuna.com.
That was the Mash Bash last night, the Battle of the Bands, downtown Boise. What a great week put on by the folks here in Boise, the Idaho Potato Commission. Famous Idaho Potato Bowl, Toledo with a 3-0 lead. Tom Hart with Mike Galati and Quentin Kesnick. Happy to have you along with us today. And head coach Matt Campbell is in his first full season, but this is already his second bowl game as a head coach. Not a bad way to start it.
No, and he's already got a bowl win in his first game, which is a nice way to start your career.
Chucky Keaton hands it off on first down for Utah State, and just back to the line of scrimmage is Kerwynn Williams. And for more, let's go back down to the blue turf and Quinn.
The animated guys in between the TV timeout there circled his entire offense, says, guys, we are hurting ourselves. We're playing too slow. Get lined up. Pointed to a bunch of the wide receivers, says, stop talking smack and get back lined up.
Quint, thanks. Matt played his college ball at Mount Union. They won another national title last night. Pass is complete to Matt Austin, and Austin takes it for a first down. 6-year senior, 24 years old. Was out of football for a year after playing at Mount San Antonio Junior College, and 2 years missed because of injuries, both physical and emotional. Broken foot cost him the year in 2009. In 2010, the opener at Oklahoma ruptured his patella tendon, tore his quadricep, and dislocated his kneecap. But he's back and playing in his final game for the Aggies here in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Our play action over the middle, nearly picked off. Into coverage went Keaton, and Jermaine Robinson. There's 4 picks on the season, and the first-team all-conference safety was right there on Kellen Bartlett.
You got to watch out for Jermaine Robinson because he not only intercepts them, but he returns them for touchdowns. He's got 4 touchdowns in his career on interception returns. He does a great job of seeing the receiver's eyes and playing the ball in the air. You can't teach that. That's what a great safety does.
And some extra movement up front. Everybody was off and running, and Tyler Larson, the 2-time first-team all-conference center, never moved the ball.
Prior to the snap, ball start, offense. We play second down.
Coach, 12 bowls for you as a coach in your career. How do you try and get your offenses going early in the game after such a long layoff?
Well, you try to, the last couple weeks prior to the bowl game, you try to do as much up-tempo stuff, meaning full speed, good against good, so you don't lose that edge, because you're right, it's tough when you haven't played in a while.
2nd and 15. Looking for the screen again out to Chuck Jacobs, and he takes it past the 30 to the 31. Here are the impact players for Toledo on the defensive side of the ball, and one man missing is the main man in the middle, Dan Moles, the nation's leading tackler.
Yeah, it's tough when you lose him, and Jermaine Robinson, we talked about his accomplishments as a safety, but when you can lose a guy like Dan Moles, the Toledo defense, every one of those 11 guys out there now may have picked up their game a little bit. It may be a loss on the one hand, but it's going to motivate everybody to play their best football.
Ken Voss extended time now with Moles out, and they had an extra man on the field. Barely got him off if they did. No flag. Keaton flush. And now he tucks it, and he will dance his way to a first down for Utah State.
And that is what Chucky Keaton can do. He may be the most dangerous when it is a design pass play and it breaks down and he starts to tuck it and run. He can just do so many things with so many moves and ultimately get the first down.
They didn't have an extra man. Toledo ran a man off and ended up with 10 on the field on that last play, trying to defend Keaton's hard enough with 11.
Yeah, 10, you leave a void out there somewhere.
So some miscommunication. Both teams a little rusty here in the first quarter from Boise. Kerwynn Williams, no, this is the option, and Keaton's got it, and he's got room. Only blue in front of him. Chucky Keaton inside the 10. Touchdown, Utah State. Keaton with a 62-yard run off the option.
Tremendous play call and tremendous execution. He had a touchdown, or he could have pitched it to the pitchback. Either one of them. They had one defender out there after it all broke down, and Chucky Keaton uses his wheels to finish the play and score.
In a big win earlier this season against Louisiana Tech to wrap up the WAC title, he went for 121 on the ground. Well on his way to that here today. And Utah State able to answer thanks to Chucky Keaton, the sophomore from Houston, Texas. And when you're running the option, a great running quarterback is always a great option. Beat one man and took it 62 yards for the score.
The Nets battle the Knicks at 7, then Bucks Grizzlies at 9:30, Wednesday on ESPN.
No, guys, it's only the first quarter.
At United Heritage, we like to hear the sound of your dreams.
Come on, who can you...
Dave & Buster's is your place for food, games, and fun. And coming now for Play 3 free. You'll get 2 free plays on 3 of the hottest games. Connect 4, Doodle Jump, and Dirty Driving. New games, new food, and new drinks. Only at Dave & Buster's.
Oh my gosh, nice car.
Thanks, I just picked it up.
You made a great recommendation.
Well, thank you.
Prestige Motors Mercedes-Benz made this the easiest purchasing experience I've ever had. I made an appointment online, met a really knowledgeable sales guy who took the time to explain every technology feature of the car, the dashboard, the sound system, everything. And I was driving away in it in a couple of hours. Thanks, Prestige Motors. I'll be back.
Nothing can test your patience like technology. It can be hit or miss. We keep that in mind. We're your TV, phone, and internet company. We're here to develop new technologies that make your TV, phone, and internet more impressive and less unpredictable, so you can stay focused on not disappointing your future father-in-law.
Number 22, Utah State with the lead on Toledo, 7-3 with 3:07 to go in the first. Let's take a look at that touchdown run by Keaton.
Yeah, what a great job. Now, initially lines up that they're going to do this. They're going to run the fake option here, and they're going to come over the top with these two guys. And when that happens, as we watch, I want to show you how it breaks down the defense. They step inside to stop the dive. Now, right out here, stop for 1 second. Here's the perfect point. We've got two offensive guys, and we got one defensive guy. He's got to make a huge decision there. Once he does, it's going to be a touchdown one way or the other. He commits outside. Chucky Keaton has the speed to finish this play and put Utah State on the board.
Toledo playing without their team leader on defense. Dan Moles, the nation's leading tackler. Could that have something to do with miscommunication defending the option?
It very easily could. You have guys that are playing now maybe slightly different positions, even though it's still a linebacker position. Your responsibilities on the inside and the outside may change slightly. He may have been able to overlap there and provide an extra body at the point of attack so you don't get outnumbered.
And so with 3:07 to go, Utah State undefeated in the final season of football in the WAC with the lead. Jared Bentrud will kick it off, and the always dangerous Bernard Reedy stands inside the 5. They're going to give Reedy a chance from the 6. And Reedy dives out to the 23-yard line. Former conference rivals square off Thursday on ESPN as BYU's 5th-ranked scoring defense looks to put the wraps on San Diego State's explosive ground game in the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl. Capital One Bowl Week, Thursday at 8 on ESPN. BYU San Diego is also live on the Watch ESPN app. BYU, one of 2 losses for Utah State this season. A 6-3 final there. They lost 2 games on missed field goals. Otherwise, we'd be talking about the Aggies as BCS busters.
Part of the snap. False start. Offense, number 81. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
It's interesting that Austin Danton is still in there. They talked about that they are going to play both quarterbacks. They didn't have a design plan, though. It wasn't going to be 2-2 series or something like that. So I'm curious as to when they might make the switch to Owens.
Terrence Owens took over the starting spot after the first game of the season against Arizona. He was magnificent against Wyoming, and Danton was basically stuck on the bench until senior day. Here comes the corner blitz, right into that blitz, and a gain of maybe 1 by David Fluellen.
And you might ask, why are they blitzing on first down? Well, the defense is ahead of the chains. It's 1st and 15. They can take a shot. You see that Utah State defense. Dowdy. Vigil is the ever-ready bunny out there. He leads them in tackles for loss and sacks, and Will Davis is the shutdown corner.
Been in on 10 tackles for loss this season has Vigil at the middle linebacker spot. 2nd and 14 for the Rockets. One of 7 teams in the MAC playing in a bowl this season. They empty the backfield for Daniel. Time tipped over the middle and nearly picked off. And now injuries continue for Toledo. Their starting running back, David Fluellen, who was hobbled by an ankle in the season finale against Akron, is getting his left leg looked at.
Both of those are massive losses for a football program. You've got your leading tackler and your leading rusher, and Fluellen sets up the entire offense for Toledo because running the football allows them to throw it off of the run.
David Pasquale was fantastic in place of Fluellen against Akron, both running and catching the football, and he motions into the slot. Pressure coming from the corner again. Danton can't escape, and he's brought down in the backfield by Boje Filimoe Atu. It's the 5th sack of the season for Filimoe Atu.
And it's that dial-up blitz. That's what they talk about. Dave Aranda, the defensive coordinator, talks about he's only going to bring 4, but you don't know which 4 of that front 7 it's going to be. They do a great job. It really puts a lot of pressure on the protection schemes up front for the Toledo Rockets.
And Utah State with some momentum here after the stop. Cameron Webb, McCade Brady, both back to return. And from the 45, it's Webb. Webb change of direction. And he takes it past midfield to set up Utah State again. Special teams tackle by Jaron Elliott. Now time to check in with the studio.
Well, no pressure to live up to. The first bowl game of the season, Gildan, New Mexico Bowl. Nevada had a 13-point lead. They had 39 first downs, but they couldn't get on this onside kick after an Austin Hill touchdown reception. Then Matt Scott, another touchdown pass. This one to Terrence Miller, and what a comeback. Rich Rod. Arizona bear down. They win by 1.
Scott thanks. What a thriller out there in Albuquerque. And here in the blue turf for Boise, Toledo brings a blitz. Keaton to throw. Dropped. Another opportunity missed. That was Matt Austin. And 2nd and 10 now.
You know, they've talked a lot about the fact that they want to get Matt Austin going early. Get him involved, get the ball to him. Maybe he's an older guy. He's a little sluggish to get going. I don't know. But they talk about that a lot. That's 2 balls thrown in. He's caught 1. He's got to catch them all in this game.
6th-year senior, Austin. And they got to trade out footballs here.
Tempo teams do not like it when officials slow down the game, I'll just tell you.
And that was a concern for Utah State and the offensive coordinator, Matt Wells. He said, I want to know what this crew is going to be like if they're going to spot the ball and get away from it and let us go. Another blitz from the edge and a short throw to Chuck Jacobs. Nowhere to go with it, maybe past the line of scrimmage.
And that's an inaccurate throw. You have to throw to the receiver so he can catch the ball and continue running. That's a difference between a negative gain or no gain and a potential 5 to 10 yard gain.
Utah State will not huddle. Starting running back for Toledo, David Fluellen, getting that left ankle taped. They converted 45% of 3rd downs this year. Keaton rolls the pocket. Now he will run with it, and he makes one man miss, picks up a block, and he takes it for another 1st down. How do you explain a quarterback who's so dangerous running the ball primarily on 3rd down?
I'll tell you what, that was all on him. That was a design pass play, moving to his left. He gets a great block on the outside, sees a gap there, comes out. Then he makes a move that only a wide receiver / running back can make. Quarterback shouldn't be able to make those kind of moves, but he's also smart enough to not take a hit. He gets out of bounds for the 1st down.
Good blocking downfield by the Aggies receivers. Now Joe Hill will take this direct snap, and they're going to run a reverse off of it, and they want to throw. Keaton's got to change direction. Now he will chuck this one out of bounds. And Keaton is slow to get up.
He's okay. He's probably more disappointed than anything else. It's always interesting in bowl games. You want to typically be the first one to run the trick play, but if somebody runs theirs, you've got to make sure you run yours pretty soon.
First play from scrimmage for the Rockets was a flea flicker, and so Utah State trying to get in on the fun here as the 1st quarter nears its end. Timeout used by Utah State.
Timeout.
As they face a 2nd and 10.
Utah State, 30-second timeout.
The 10-win Aggies with the lead here in the 1st quarter, 7-3 in the WAC versus MAC.
The University of Transformation. Opportunity. Leadership. The University of Environment. Development. And optimum quality of life. The University of Toledo. Higher education has never been more relevant.
Utah State with the lead over Toledo. Tom Hart with Mike Bellotti. Some question as to why Utah State would use a timeout in that situation. There's no wind here in the field today.
Yeah, well, it could have been the quarterback was a little shaken up. It may have been they had the wrong personnel group in the game. I thought I saw the tight end coach sort of shaking his head like, yeah, we got the wrong mix in there.
Mike Sanford, the tight end wide receivers coach for Utah State, on his way to Indiana State to be the head coach of the Sycamores after today. Former head coach at UNLV. Another option, Keaton keeps it. Nearly to the 30, and that will be the final play of the first quarter. Robert Bell in for the stop for Toledo. So far today, Chucky Keaton has the play of the day, a 62-yard keeper on the option for Utah State. The Aggies able to answer the early deficit to take a 7-3 lead here on the blue turf of Boise. Back for the second quarter of action between Toledo and Utah State right after this.
Hello, I'm an Idaho potato farmer. A while back, we sent out a truck and crew to tell folks about our 75th anniversary, and we haven't seen hide nor hair of them since. Here's the description. It's about 70 feet long, bright red, and has our name, Idaho Potatoes, painted all over it. Oh, it's hauling an Idaho potato, a pretty big one. If you see him, we hope you let him know. It's time to come home.
Let's give thanks for an idea. A grand idea called America. The idea that if you work hard, if you have a dream, if you work with your neighbors, you can do most anything. This led to other ideas, like liberty and rock and roll, to free markets, free enterprise, and free refills. It put a man on the moon and a phone in your pocket. Our country's gone through a lot over the centuries and a half. But this idea isn't fragile. When times get tough, it rallies us as one. Every day, more people believe in the American idea. And when they do, the dream comes true. We're grateful to be a part of it.
Dad?
What is it, buddy?
Can you get rid of this thing? I'm scared.
Well, I can't, buddy, because we have cable. And since the whole family records a bunch of stuff, the DVR gets full. And then we get this.
When will it go away?
You know, I don't know. That's a good question. You have a lot of great questions. Sleep tight.
Upgrade to DirecTV and get 3 times more HD recording capacity. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Oh, there you go. I'm gonna stand up to her.
No, you're not.
I know.
You know, Ronnie, folks who save hundreds of dollars switching to Geico sure are happy. How happy are they, Jimmy?
Happier than a witch in a broom factory. Get happy. Get Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Experience Ruby Tuesday's new mixed grill specials starting at $11.99, including our ribs with bacon-wrapped shrimp. Enjoy our free garden bar with any mixed grill special. Ruby Tuesday. It's all good here. This season, buy $50 in Ruby Tuesday gift cards and get a $15 bonus card absolutely free.
Are we doing okay here?
Absolutely.
And what can I get for you? I'll have one of those.
From the Boise foothills, it's the start of the second quarter. Number 22, Utah State leading Toledo 7-3. Already a lot of action in this one, and not of the good kind if you're a Toledo Rockets fan. The nation's leading tackler, Dan Moles, their starting middle linebacker, went down on this hit on the opening kickoff of the game. Had to be helped off the field and hasn't returned. And then their starting running back, David Fluellen, who battled an ankle injury against Northern Illinois, left the game with an ankle injury. And after all of that, Chucky Keaton, well, he's just fine and perfectly healthy for Utah State.
Get him out on the outside. He can finish plays. No question about it.
Coach, I'm curious. You got a guy like Dan Moles, and obviously there's a huge drop-off between him and the guy behind him. Why is he out there on the special teams?
He probably wants to be, and you want to have you would like your starters to maybe play on 1 or 2 special teams, not that many. Now, not if there's depth issues, but I bet he wants to be on that team, and I thought it was a great example. Now, the coaches may say, wow, we really screwed that one up. We shouldn't have done that. But the reality is you hit that time that way every day in practice probably, and many times on special teams. He survived all those. He didn't survive this one.
And he's a hard-nosed guy. It can be tough to keep off the field, no doubt about that. Here's a 48-yard field goal attempt now for Utah State. And Nick Diaz. Diaz long is 53. This is right in his comfort zone, and they're going to fake it. And Diaz tries to take it right up the middle and barely gets back to the line of scrimmage.
You know, I was going to say something about a fake because we already see 2 trick plays. That was a fairly long field goal in cold weather. And you might have said, what the heck, let's go for it. We might catch it by surprise. Obviously, Toledo ready for it on defense.
Sometimes coaches just have too much time between the final regular season game and bowl game.
You're right. You got all the time to draw up these new plays and think these great ideas. And the reality is sometimes you forgot what got you there.
Should just put away the grease board for at least 1 week. Austin Danton got the starter quarterback. He's still in the game at QB for Toledo. And David Pasquale, who was fantastic in the final regular season game, is in, and he takes a pop right at the line of scrimmage. And speaking of running back depth, let's go down to the blue turf once again and Quint.
David Fluellen right now is going to attempt to walk off the field. They're going to actually take him inside for x-rays. They retaped his left ankle. He got on the blue turf, tried to do some sprints. He couldn't even jog. He could barely walk. And you see him right now with 2 members of the medical staff being carried inside to x-ray what appears to be a high ankle sprain of that left ankle. Actually, they're going to put him on the cart.
Never good. And especially for a guy coming off of that same injury a couple of games ago against Northern Illinois. Danton, out route knocked away. Great coverage down the field. Olak, the intended receiver. Brady had the coverage as they cart David Fluellen Jr. from Lockport, New York off. This is Fluellen on the sideline trying to work a little bit and jog on that ankle. 8th in the nation in rushing, and he's gone over 100 yards 6 of the last 7 games. And what impressed you the most is he's turned in 3 200-yard games this season, 1 even in a loss.
Yeah, in a loss, it's, you know, when you're behind, you're typically throwing the ball. He got 200 yards in a loss, which means he was still able to move the chains that way.
Toledo 0 for 3 on 3rd down so far this afternoon. Dan will check. The play clock is at 2. They got to hurry, and now he has to burn a timeout. First timeout used by Toledo. 25th career start today for Danton, trying to get it done without his starting running back, David Fluellen.
Timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Idahoan Foods applauds all you Potato Bowl fans. Yes, we're talking the fluffy, homemade taste of Idahoan mashed potatoes. We tip our hats to our growers, our employees, and the kitchens worldwide that serve our 100% Idaho potatoes. And to you, Mr. and Mrs. Potato Bowl fan, we pledge to keep bringing you the best potato bowls in the world. Go Potatoes!
Jackpot.
What are you doing?
Oh, I was just looking for a paperclip.
It's right there.
Right.
Hey, look at this. The Optimum app for iPad, iPhone, and iPod Touch just got even better. This is the new Optimum program guide. Makes it easier than ever to find great shows and movies to watch anywhere in your house. Browse on-demand choices, even rate what you watch and get recommendations on what to watch next. And these great new features will be appearing on more screens in the coming months. So like they say on TV, stay tuned.
I'm gonna give you the moon. Take it right from the sky like a silver balloon.
This holiday, celebrate with Pandora. Available at Willowbrook Mall in Wayne and Paramus Park Mall in Paramus.
Capital One Bowl Week is available live anytime, anywhere on your computer, tablet, or smartphone at WatchESPN.com and with the Watch ESPN app. Here on the blue turf of Boise, Idaho. The Famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Number 22 Utah State with the lead and the momentum thanks to 2 Toledo starters going down. And now the Rockets trying to convert, keep this drive alive on 3rd and 10. Danton over the middle, caught. First down Toledo, and Alonzo Russell still motoring as he takes it down to the 40. Russell had a monster game against Akron with 139 yards and 2 touchdowns, and that one goes for 30.
With Flewellen out, it's going to put a lot more pressure on Austin Danton to make plays, whether it's to Reedy or Russell, but they've got to step up.
And now he'll swing it out to Reedy. And Reedy picks up 9 on first down. And some extra action on the sideline from the cornerback, Will Davis.
One of the things that happens too, tempo teams like to get going. They like to get a couple first downs. They feel that they get energy and it wears out the defense. So let's see how fast Toledo goes here.
Dan has started this game 4 for 9 as it's go no huddle once again. And he will keep it all the way, needing 2 for the first down, and he won't get it. Boje Fili Moyatu with the stop.
He was a little tentative in that run. It looked like he kept thinking he might do something else. If he'd have just put his head down, he might have gotten there. Brings up a short yardage situation.
Dan is a very good running quarterback. So is Terrence Owens, who started for the majority of the season. Are you surprised we haven't seen Owens yet?
I am a little bit. And again, I don't know, with the colder weather, maybe his ankle's not quite as good as we thought. Maybe they like what Dan is doing.
David Pasquale now in the game to take the direct snap. They've got Danton split out wide, top of the formation. Pasquale will keep it, and he's snuffed. There's a flag on the play. Jordan Nielsen got behind the line of scrimmage to make the stop on Pasquale.
Great penetration right there. Was
offside. Defense, number 52. 5-yard penalty. Yardage is a first down.
Freshman Kyler Fackrell at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, he tried to jump that snap count. He's one of the most explosive players, but he's a young player too, and you get excited in those situations.
Danton back behind center in front of Pasquale. The 2 seniors counted for all the offense on senior night. Here's Reedy. That'll go for a pass, and Fili Moyatu again with the stop for Utah State.
Great job of defending the fly sweep. That's just it's a pitch instead of a handoff, and that's to avoid any timing problems. They get that ball, he's going full speed, but great job of Utah State defense maintaining their outside leverage to the side that play came.
You put the ball on the ground in that situation, it's a dead ball as opposed to a fumble. Danton checks again. He and Pasquale on senior night had a night to remember. Both playing as starters after being reserves for the entire season. Option, Dan pitches, and Pasquale picks up a few. Kyler Fackrell with the stop for Utah State, and their defensive coordinator Dave Aranda, who spent the last couple of years at Hawaii. In 2010, Hawaii led the NCAA in turnovers caused, and that's been motivation and a message from him is takeaways, and they've put together fantastic numbers all season.
He's one of the hot young coaches, defense, and he's helping win games with his defense.
3rd and 6, those were their rankings nationally. Top 15 defense, 2 categories, top 10. Austin Danton's cut it close with the play clock a couple of times today, and that time it gets burned. Dan took all the practices last week in bowl prep before they came out here to Boise, and he shared snaps in practice this week with Terrence Owens.
Delay a game. Offense, 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
And while he started the final game of the regular season, would you expect that they have expanded the playbook for him today?
Yes, I believe they probably have it, but it still doesn't matter. He's a senior quarterback that's played a lot of football. He has to understand the clock management part of it.
So it backs him up and makes it a 3rd and 11 now for Toledo. Option again, and this one's whistled before it can get started. Another false start on Toledo.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 60. 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
One of the things you do find, though, is when you've played with one quarterback's cadence, and Owens was a quarterback for 8 or 9 games, you get used to it, and the other guy may not have quite the exact cadence or syntax, and it changes things.
They've gone from roughly 3rd and 5 to 3rd and 16 now, after consecutive penalties. Russell motions across. They get the play off again. Here comes the blitz. And that is caught. Fantastic hands on a diving grab by Reedy.
Still brings up a 4th down situation. I assume they'll try to get some points on the board. If we haven't seen Owens yet, we may after that series, because a couple of those were probably on the quarterback in terms of penalties. However, this is a great throw and catch. The problem is he's not able to make any yards after the catch because he has to dive for the ball.
So Jeremiah Detmer on for a 37-yard attempt. And he punches it through. Second score of the day for Toledo. Two teams that are used to close games, and that's what we have here in the second quarter. 7-6 Aggies.
Once a year, truck drivers across North America volunteer to drive a cargo of honor, respect, and integrity by delivering wreaths to the cemeteries of American veterans. Truckload Carriers Association is proud to support Wreaths Across America.
Capital One Cash Rewards card.
Sometimes you gotta live Moss.
Welcome back to the city of trees, Boise, Idaho. And the Boise foothills in the background. Number 22, Utah State with the lead over Toledo 7-6. Tom Art with Mike Pilati, Quint Kesselnick down on the sideline. A lot of potatoes around here. Coach put down about 1.5 plates of mash right before the game.
And I loved it. Loved every minute of it. It didn't take that long.
Chuck Jacobs wants to bring it out about 3 yards deep. And he is stoned at the 14-yard line by David Pascal. Now back to the studio. Here's Scott Van Pelt.
Well, thank you. Let's crown a champion, D2 style. Valdosta State took the opening kickoff back for a touchdown here. Caden Cochran hooks up with Quinn Roberson for a touchdown pass. Cedric O'Neill did his work on the ground for a $140. Valdosta State, its 3rd Division II championship in the last 9 years. Congrats to the Blazers.
All right, the Blazers winners earlier today, and last night it was Matt Campbell's alma mater. Mount Union doing it once again. They played in the title game every year since 2005, only had one national championship to throw or to show for it, and he was anxious in our meetings to get right back to the TV and watch the rest of it. Incomplete. Mount Union team, a mainstay in the title game at the Division III level.
Unbelievable what they've done. Larry Karras, a tremendous coach who just continues to win. I mean, just being in the national championship, let alone winning it occasionally. I mean, still, he's there every year, and it's a program that you have to deal with in Division III football.
A couple of Mount Union guys in that sideline, not only Campbell, but his offensive coordinator, Jason Candle. Won 2 national championships at Mount Union as a wide receiver, 3 as an assistant coach. Shecky Keaton, option, takes it and takes the hit. Picks up maybe 2 yards.
Much better job on defense that time by Toledo.
Well, here's a look at those purple uniforms of Mount Union and the head coach Matt Campbell, linebacker from 99 to 2002. Still a very young head coach. Here with the Toledo Rockets, coaching in his 2nd bowl game after Tim Beckman left for Illinois before the bowl last year. 33 years old, the youngest head coach in FBS. His offense facing a 3rd and 8. And here's the pitch for Utah State's offense. And Kerwynn Williams trying to make something happen, and he picks up a 1st down.
And you see there, you talk about Kerwynn Williams. He's not just speed or flash and dash. He has some power, 5'8", 189 pounds or whatever, and now they're going up tempo.
And Keaton at the line of scrimmage falls forward for 1 as they pick up that tempo. Robert Bell with the stop. This is a Utah State offense over the last 6 games, which is averaging 45 points and 502 yards of offense. They're averaging more than 7 yards of play over the last half dozen contests.
The one thing, Toledo sees the zone read, and they understand how to play it. They played the option well. They played that play very well. Power football, power run inside is something they do struggle to contain.
DJ Tialavea, big tight end, checks into the game. They stay with 1 back, but the tight ends both lined up outside the tackles. Keaton handles the low snap, got it. Man wide open, it's Kellen Bartlett. And Bartlett dropped his knee, but after he picked up a 1st down, another injured Rocket. Robert Bell helped to his feet. And here's that tempo we're talking about. Utah State wanting to keep it going. And Williams wrestled to the ground just past the line of scrimmage by Jermaine Robinson, senior from Pittsburgh.
One of the things that Utah State, they don't want to go fast all the time, but they want to vary the tempo. And they talked about, from a defensive standpoint, it's almost worse if you sometimes go fast, sometimes go slow, but you sneak that fast play in every once in a while.
Zone blitz again. Keaton trying to get to the screen, and Matt Austin gets thrown for a loss. Is it better to run the screen where the zone blitz is coming from, or do you want to go away from it?
You typically want to go where it came from, because those are defenders that are avoiding their areas. The other side from the zone blitz, people are tended to drop. That was not a great throw. Same thing with the screen. You've got to throw it at the face or elbows of the receiver so he can catch it and turn up on the run immediately.
Aggies facing a 3rd and 12 now. They've been stuck in 3rd and long all afternoon. On the draw, Kerwynn Williams takes it straight up the middle. And this will bring up a punting situation for Utah State. Elijah Jones with the stop.
One of the reasons the draw may not work as well against Toledo, they talked about only rushing to a point because of the foot skills of Chucky Keaton. So they're not going to run up the field and be as susceptible to the draw because they're looking at Chucky Keaton and want to get their eyes on him. So it's going to make the draw a tougher thing to run today.
Bernard Reedy averages nearly 12 yards a punt return. He already has 1 punt return for a touchdown this season. He came after it, nearly got it. And Reedy again has to ask for a fair catch, 2nd of the day. And Toledo's offense will take over the 15 after a 41-yard punt here in Boise.
Capital One Bowl Week continues through January 1st.
It's that time of year again. Time for City Price Rewind. Because your daughter really wants that pink castle thing. And you really don't want to pay more than you have to. Only City Price Rewind automatically searches for the lowest price. And if it finds one, you get refunded the difference. Just use your City card and register your purchase online.
Have a super sparkly day.
Okay. Now all you need is a magic carriage. City Price Rewind. Start saving at city.com/price rewind.
When it comes to the financial obstacles military families face, we understand. At USAA, we know military life is different. We've been there. That's why every bit of financial advice we offer is geared specifically to current and former military members and their families.
Dad!
Life brings obstacles. USAA brings advice. Call or visit us online. We're ready to help.
Dear Honda, thanks for the deal you got my sister at your holiday sales event. Shotgun! Rides in your Civic are full of valuable information.
Tim's parents are gone. Party!
Interesting. Plus, my iPod connects to the car. And since she saved so much, she's gonna be a lot nicer. Love, Samantha.
More happiness with every Honda during Happy Honda Days. Get a great deal on the 2012 Civic at your Honda dealer.
It's Nissan's season to save. Get unforgettable deals on road, versatile and cargo capable, or the all-new Altima. With best-in-class 38 mpg, get savings worth celebrating. Lease road, just $209 per month. Or get a $199 per month lease on the all-new Nissan Altima. For the best offers, visit ChooseNissan.com or your local Nissan dealer. Hurry, holiday specials end January 2nd.
Okay. Welcome back to Boise. Number 22, Utah State leads Toledo 7-6. Austin Danton makes his third start of the season today. And on senior night against Akron, he was the starter because Terrence Owens was out with an ankle injury, and he was magnificent. So was David Pasquale. The two seniors on senior night accounted for all but 10 yards of the total offense for the Rockets.
They did a great job, and they responded to the opportunity given and the challenge, because when your big guys go down, you got to step up, and those guys have been waiting a long time.
Terrence Owens has been active today. Quinn Kesnick tells us that he's had his helmet on, has been bouncing around, hoping to get in the game, but so far it's been all Austin Danton. Cassius McDowell is now in at running back. McDowell is more of a perimeter-oriented running back, and that time they try to go right up the middle with him, and maybe he picks up one. Sophomore from Deerfield Beach, Florida. I'd say he has some speed. He was on a state championship relay team with a guy by the name of Denard Robinson. How could they ever lose in the 4x100?
Wow, that would be a lot of speed on the field, I'll tell you what.
McDowell has his laces tied, we assume. Once again, the play clock running down 2 seconds now as Danton hands it off to McDowell. You see a burst of that speed as he's able to turn it into an 8-yard gain. McCade Brady with the stop.
That was a nice job of cutting up that time. That's the chess match, too. You're behind the sticks. In other words, it's 2nd and 10, and the defense is now going to toy with the offense a little bit. The offense checks, the defense checks. That might be one of the reasons that Austin Danton has had a couple delay of games. He's trying to match and wait and see what the defense does.
They got McDowell matched up with a linebacker, Zach Vigil. Five wide here for Toledo. And now a timeout used once again by Austin Danton with the play clock winding down. We'll take it with him. Toledo trailing by 1 to Utah State, 5:05 before the half.
Media timeout.
I'm a mama's boy. Punch brings my family together. I usually talk longer with my mother. My bill is always flat, it's always the same. No extra cost, no limits on the time, so it just works very good. Everybody has a favorite in their family, and I'm pretty sure I'm the one for my mom, so. Mi nombre es Raúl Santoyo, and my mom is why I switched to Vonage.
Get unlimited calling to Mexico and over 60 countries for one low price from any phone.
They'll see you before you see them. Cops are cracking down on drinking and driving. Drive sober or get pulled over.
For work, for fun, for all of the above.
Big Red, Foreman, and Rancher from Honda. Built to work.
Dave & Buster's is your place for food, games, and fun. And come in now for Play 3 free. You'll get 2 free plays on 3 of the hottest games. Connect 4, Doodle Jump, and Dirty Driving. New games, new food, and new drinks. Only at Dave & Buster's.
Capital One Bowl Week continues Friday on ESPN as a red-hot Ball State team, winners of 6 straight, looks for their first bowl title against Central Florida in the Beef O'Brady's Bowl in St. Petersburg. Capital One Bowl Week, Friday at 7:30 on ESPN, also live on the Watch ESPN app and ESPN Radio. Had a great chat with MAC Commissioner John Steinbrecher before the game today. Look at all the teams that he was able to place in the postseason. Meanwhile, the WAC, in the final football season of the WAC, only has 2, and you feel for the kids and the coaches at Louisiana Tech who missed out on a deserving bowl bid.
Yeah, unfortunately, they tried to wait and get a better bowl and ended up without one.
And the MAC stole that bowl right from under La Tech's nose. On 3rd down, Danton to throw. And this is McDowell who has a first down and a few more as he finally gets out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Pickup of 18.
2 things about that play. Great protection by Toledo that allowed that crossing route to develop. And a nice touch and patience by Austin Danton. Waited for the receiver break home, hit him right on stride. Huge play.
You mentioned earlier that Danton is having trouble with the play clock because of the check with me once they get to the line. Do you get to a point where you just say stop checking and we're going to go with whatever we have?
Absolutely. You go fast and you take the defensive coordinator out of it. You don't give them a chance to match you. You just go before they're ready.
And there's a check from Danton, and Utah State will counter. McDowell back into the backfield, play clock at 2. Cassius McDowell straight ahead, and he gets tripped up after a gain of 4. And Cassius McDowell, the sophomore from Deerfield Beach High School in Florida, getting some extended playing time today with the loss of David Fluellen, all-conference running back who came in 8th in the nation in yards per game with 133. That high ankle sprain bothering him once again, although he didn't look so bothered by it early in the game.
No, he was amazing because high ankle sprains typically can take up to 6 to 8 weeks to recover from. I was surprised and shocked seeing out, and he looked very good. He was doing a great job running the ball early.
At 7 carries for 38 yards, nearly 5.5 yards a touch for Fluellen early in this game. Now Pasquale, and he takes it past midfield and picks up a Toledo first down.
One of the other things you do if you're having problems matching up with the defense, you get in formations that dictate what the defense, how they have to line up, and so you limit some of the things that they can do. Using multiple tight ends as you see right now.
Danton finds Pasquale trying to set up a screen. He took his eye off the football, and that drops to set up a 2nd and 10. 7-6 here. Check in once again with Scott Van Pelt.
Thanks so much, Jesse Palmer, David Pollack alongside. We will see you at the half. Why do we love bowl season so much? Have you seen the first bowl game of the year? Arizona with an unbelievable comeback. We crowned a Division II champion. And in college basketball, if nothing else, we found out who's the best team in Indiana. An upset. We'll see you at the half.
Scott, thanks. Number 22, Utah State, MAC champs undefeated. WAC champs undefeated in the final season of football in the WAC, taking on Toledo out of the MAC. Danton has to scramble, and he gets dragged down behind the line of scrimmage by B.J. Larson. Zach Vigil was the first one there and made Danton take off.
Zach Vigil, we talked about him leading his team in tackles for loss and sacks. He's a great blitzer coming off the edge, but it's also just the finish, the ability of this Utah State team to continue playing with relentless pursuit.
3rd and 12. They move guys around sometimes in the Cowboy defense with only 2 down defensive linemen. Danton over the middle, caught in coverage, and that'll set up 4th and 6. Alonzo Russell with the catch over the middle.
When you're way ahead of the chains, when it's 3rd and long, you just want to force the throw, keep the quarterback in the pocket, and then tackle the receiver for less than the necessary yardage. You also saw the guys on the other side giving the safe signal. That means they're in safe punt. They're going to protect against the fake here. They've kept the defense on the field, put a punt returner back.
Cameron Webb set to return. Inside the 5 and stopped right there. Fantastic special teams coverage. And a game that's turned into a battle between the punters. A 41-yarder that time for Vince Penza. Toledo was without David Fluellen. He initially was injured against Northern Illinois as a pass blocker, and that high ankle sprain kept him out of action against Akron, and here he was once again today, averaging nearly 5.5 yards a carry, helped to the sideline, and then crumpled to his knees. They took him in for x-rays. At one point, he's back on the field, just trying to stay warm and support his team with that left ankle iced up.
The guy talking to him is Terrence Owens, saying, don't worry, we're going to get him for you.
A couple of first-team All-MAC performers, 1,400 total yards for Fluellen. A remarkable season after last year being stuck behind Adonis Thomas and Morgan Williams. He had a breakout season this year, but forced to watch today in Boise. On the ground for Kerwynn Williams, and Williams spins his way for a couple of more. Williams, the school record in all-purpose yardage coming into this game today, 32 yards away from the all-time WAC record held by New Mexico's Terrence Matthews. My question is, who's going to print the WAC football record book next season?
That is a great question. WAC football will be no more.
No more.
Those record books would be a lot more expensive after that.
It would be collector's edition.
Yeah.
2nd and 3. Again, Williams, and he gets tripped up and still picks up the first down. And it was a trip by Hank Keithley, the senior from Dayton, Ohio.
We talked about this earlier. Toledo does a great job of stopping the lateral plays, the options, that type of thing. They are susceptible to the power running game, and that's what Utah State is doing right now. They're running straight ahead. They're max protecting. They're blocking with big guys on big guys, an extra blocker in the backfield. And Kerwynn Williams is benefiting from that dramatically.
Half a minute left in the first half from Boise. On the ground one more time. And Williams trying to bounce this one to the outside, give Utah State a chance, and he picks up the first down. How does that change your play calling now with 2 timeouts remaining?
Well, you got to figure out, can you get in position for a field goal? Running the ball is one thing right here. You're ahead, so you don't want to turn the ball over, give that team a chance to maybe kick a field goal. I think they may try and play that, and they open this thing up a little bit.
Joe Hill has entered split backs now for Utah State. Keaton wants to throw. He's got all day and a deep ball down the sideline. Incomplete, trying to fit it into Matt Austin. Coverage by Byron Best.
Great coverage, but that was really a rebound type situation. That was a toss the ball up, the alley-oop, put it up, and go high point the ball. And they like what Matt Austin can do in those situations. They talked about he's got very strong hands, good leaping ability. Not the fastest guy, but tough to the catch. You see him, he has this almost, does a great job of defense to rip that ball out. He landed out of bounds anyway.
2nd and 10. They're going to take another shot. The chunk yardage over the middle. Got a man. First down and more for Utah State. And Chuck Jacobs. Now with 11 seconds left, 2 timeouts remain for Utah State. They can stop the clock after that 40-yard gain.
They're going to get at least 2 plays here.
Timeout. Utah State. Second charge time of the half. 30-second timeout.
Jacobs had a lot of room to run.
Great protection there. A nice move down the middle of the field. With 1 timeout left, they've got it. You can see this. Comes over the top. It's just a zone. He runs in the center field. There's nobody there.
Mark Singer, the safety, with the tackle. Now 11 seconds left. How do you draw this one up to close the half?
Well, I think what I would do first of all is I take a shot at the end zone. You're already in field goal position, but I think you maybe do a double move route. You look at the middle of the field because you can always call timeout. You can't lose yardage though. That's the one thing. You've got to throw the ball away. Don't get sacked. But I take a shot down the field, vertical seam type throw, or maybe a deep sideline. The guy can catch it and step out of bounds.
It'll be a 45-yarder from here. Keaton. Another first down inside the 10 with 5 seconds and a timeout remaining. Matt Austin with the grab.
Timeout.
Well, now that changes things.
Third and final timeout of the half.
The problem is
30-second timeout.
It's very difficult to get another play off. If you try to throw the ball in the end zone, it's almost where you're going to have to risk it. We can see here the top receiver on this field is going to run a slant for us. Just watch it. We talked about attack in the middle. It was open last time. You see they cross right there, and the middle field comes open again. Great timing on the throw, great anticipation. The route was designed to either bust man-to-man or give him a chance to widen the underneath defender. You see a nice little move by Austin there. He sort of one step at the safety and then cuts across his face. But I think they're just going to settle for the field goal right now because you cannot guarantee. It's really difficult with less than 8 seconds to get a second play, even on an incomplete pass.
Just ask Georgia. Cost Bulldogs in the SEC title game against Alabama, even when they tried to throw the fade. Diaz 8 of 11 on the season. 27-yard attempt to close the first half. Toledo uses a timeout.
Let's try to ice that kicker. It's not cold enough out there right now. We're going to ice him some more.
Had some snow flurries falling on our way to the stadium today, but overall, pretty good day here in Boise. Some of the best teams in the country highlight ESPN's doubleheader tonight. At 8, the Mountaineers go for the upset against Michigan in their high-powered offense in the Brooklyn Hoops Winter Festival. Then at 10, it's a key non-conference battle when Florida takes on Arizona in a rematch of last season's overtime thriller. Holiday Hoops presented by K Jewelers. West Virginia versus number 3 Michigan at 8. Then number 5 Florida takes on number 8 Arizona at 10. Tonight on ESPN and also live on Watch ESPN.
Now, would you run a fake here?
No.
Well, you check the defense first. If you had a fake call, you might say it's on or off based on what you see on the field.
They tried one earlier with Diaz. He was stuffed at the line of scrimmage on a toss from his holder, Jaron Bentry. And Diaz will pop this one through to add to the Utah State advantage. And that's how the half comes to an end here in Boise with number 22 Utah State with the lead on Toledo by a score of 10-6. And Toledo trying to do it without 2 key starters. Their leader on offense, David Fluellen, the running back, and their leader on defense, Dan Moles, the nation's leading tackler. Let's go down now to Quint, who's standing by with Matt Campbell.
Coach, after doing a pretty nice job defensively, what happened on that last drive?
Well, he made a great throw, get himself down there, and it hurts not having Danny Moles in the game, and Robert Bell's gone in and played Mike linebacker and done a heck of a job. So just a couple little things we got to just keep doing a great job of, but I'm proud of our kids. We keep fighting, lost our 2 best players, and we'll keep fighting till the end. We'll be there right at the end.
I was going to ask you about that. You lose Dan Moles on the opening kickoff.
Yep.
David Fluellen goes down. What's it like operating without your 2 best players?
Well, we've done it all year, and so our kids know how to respond. We're fighters. We're tough kids, and that's Toledo football.
What's the winning adjustment offensively?
Well, for us, we just got to sustain drives and score in the red zone. So we'll do that. I think we got a good beat on them, and I'm excited for the second half.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
So Toledo down 2 key players, a starter on each side of the ball for Toledo defense, which lost 2 key defensive players early in the season. That's the end of the first half. Now let's take you to Scott Van Pelt in the halftime report with the guys here in Boise. It's 10-6 Aggies.
Jesse Palmer, David Pollock, Scott Van Pelt with you. David's in a better mood because we've had a bit more defense in this one. And Jesse, we expected that perhaps we'd see take two from game one, an offensive explosion. A bunch of injuries for Toledo to deal with. But the fact that they're hanging in, given the defensive injuries, you have to be pleased if you're Toledo.
They're playing very tough right now. You lose your leading tackler in Moles. You lose your best running back, your best offensive player in Fluellen. But they're playing very smart football. Haven't turned it over yet. Playing very good on special teams. I think the adjustment for them in the second half, keep Chucky Keaton contained inside the pocket, especially on critical down and distances on third down. We saw Chucky Keaton give them problems running the football on third down that first half.
It was 3rd and 13. He gets the first down, and then he takes it the next time to the house. But I think I keep running more option plays with him. And that's the beautiful thing about bowl games is there's no game after this. He doesn't have to worry about being sore. I saddle up Mr. Keaton, and I ride him the rest of the way and give him the football because he's fun to watch when he's got it in his hands.
I mean, there's nothing left. You're not going to save it for later. We saw a fake field goal among other plays, so we'll see what's in store in the second half. Already today, we've crowned a champion, Division II style. Valdosta State, they got off to as good a start as you could possibly get off to. Winston-Salem picks it off, and here we go. And let's go all the way the other way. Matt Pierce, 96 yards, and Valdosta kicker. Ooh, well, the kicker did fall.
Somebody on kickoff coverage has to at least get a paw on him, no? Well, can it be somebody else that doesn't kick?
Kicker with a running start, a guy at the running start, not good.
Nobody touches him here. Valdosta State, it's Cedric O'Neal. He went over 100 in this one. It's 14-0. We're not even 5 minutes in, and Winston-Salem, who's not lost all year, is reeling. Winston-Salem, Cameron Smith takes off, fumbles. Really the key moment in this football game. You get a chance to make it a one-score game. You can't give it up there.
No, not just trying to do too much down close in the red zone. Ball security has to be at a premium.
Caden Cochran, Quinn Roberson, beautiful job to secure the ball at its highest point. Tap the Tutons in the end zone, and Valdosta State for the third time in less than a decade. That's what they call it, appropriately so. They've won it again. Well, if you're a Nevada fan and you tapped out to go do some shopping because you thought your team had its bowl win secured, they had a present of their own for Arizona. Highlights on the way.
What's better than hand-scooped ice cream? Hand-scooped ice cream between two chocolate chip cookies. The chocolate chip cookie ice cream sandwich. Free with a Memphis barbecue burger combo. Only at Hardee's and Carl's Jr.
Need for Speed Most Wanted. Rated everyone 10 and up. Xbox 360. Now $50 off.
Sorry, I couldn't get away.
You can now.
Morning, people. What's on the agenda? Yep.
At 7, you'll arrive at my toll booth with no change.
Not even under the seat?
Nope.
Great.
Mark, I'm calling in sick, so you have to handle my all-day client meeting.
Excellent. Jennifer?
At 11, I'll call crying because you haven't updated your relationship status.
After just one date.
Yeah.
Carl?
After lunch, a box of nails will fall out of my truck, blowing 2 of your tires.
Nearest gas station?
3 miles.
Good thing I got my orange juice.
And me. You have me.
Take on the day with the natural goodness of 100% pure Florida orange juice.
What's better than hand-scooped ice cream? Hand-scooped ice cream between two chocolate chip cookies. The chocolate chip cookie ice cream sandwich. Free with a Memphis barbecue burger combo. Only at Hardee's and Carl's Jr.
Look who's back.
Again?
It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
We can see you, Carl.
We can totally see you.
Come on, you're better than this. All that prowling around.
Yeah, you're the king of the jungle.
Have you thought about going vegan, Carl?
You know, folks who save hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico sure are happy.
How happy are they, Jimmy?
Happier than an antelope with night vision goggles.
Nice. Get happy. Get Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Only one bowl thus far, and we've already got a candidate for Bowl Game of the Year, do the haka. Gildan, New Mexico Bowl. And early on here, this pistol offense is tough to decipher.
Yeah, Cody Fajardo did a great job all game long. Fundamentally, with his ball handling, he had this Arizona defense frozen in the front seven.
Stephon Jefferson, the second leading rusher in the nation, takes it in, and then you go up top to Zach Sudfield. They had Arizona reeling. It's 14-0, and then David Pollack as a defender. What if teammates get into it and start swinging on each other, what kind of effect can it have?
Well, I mean, sometimes it obviously can break you apart, but sometimes you go, you know what, let's start swinging on the other guys. And I think that's what they did. Arizona's like, bump this, let's go out and hit somebody.
Devin Hood and Cody Ippolito fighting with each other, and then it's Kadeem Carey rushing. He's the nation's leading rusher. Matt Scott takes it in at 21-14. Later in this second quarter, defense optional, but entertaining nonetheless. Here comes Kadeem Carey. Wow, shaking and baking.
Tremendous vision. How about the patience? Did a tremendous job running in the red zone today.
Tied at 28. Now it's 31-28. Someone should cover 12.
Well, they've thrown a couple bubble screens earlier in the game, so a nice job setting that play up.
Yeah, that's Richie Turner pushing works wide open. All right, it's a 17-point lead when Scott finds Austin Hill, one of the best wide receivers out west. He shakes off the defender. It's a 10-point deficit. Now the ensuing Nevada drive, Pollack was out of his mind. Why are you kicking a field goal here? Because you're still only ahead by 13.
Yeah, it's still a 2-touchdown game, so you still lose. If I'm there, I try to get it on 4th down and make them go 95.
Well, Nevada went incredibly soft on the defense, and Arizona marches right down the field, Scott to Hill, but they've exhausted their timeout. So if Nevada can pounce on this onside kick, it's game over. You win your bowl game, except,
Prevent yourself from winning. It happens a lot.
So the very next snap, they decide not to go prevent. They bring pressure to unblocked men. But watch Kadeem Carey block the most dangerous. That gives Matt Scott just a fraction of a second to get rid of the football, and a tremendous catch over the middle of the field in traffic.
Garrett Orton squeezes that. Then it's Scott to Hill again. Far too easy. They're just scooting downfield. And now, next play, you got enough time on the clock. You could run if you like. Instead, zip. Terrence Miller and 2 touchdowns inside of 2 minutes left in this game. And Arizona, remarkably, Rich Rodriguez, they've won the Gildan New Mexico Bowl to start off the bowl season with an entertaining style of play, if you prefer offense.
My kind of game,
freaking out. Over 1,200 yards of offense. Look, Nevada had 39 first downs on their own. That's a bowl record. Yards per play, touchdowns. Again, the defense, these are two teams, guys, going in, we knew we're going to be challenged to play a whole lot of defense, but I don't know, it's a bowl game, you're entertained. You and I enjoyed it. The guy in the middle can speak for himself in a minute. What'd you make of this?
I was very impressed with Arizona, how they handled adversity in this game. They get down 21-0 right away. They get in a fist fight with each other on the sidelines. The offense stalls in their first 2 drives. They're able to come back, collect themselves, down 17 in the 4th quarter. Matt Scott does an unbelievable job in the 2-minute situation, having great command. They didn't have any timeouts, and this is huge for momentum for a team, winning a bowl game going into the offseason. Defense has to get way better next year. They have to find a pass rush, but with Kadeem Carey coming back, Austin Hill coming back at wide receiver, maybe
They had a bunch of walk-on linebackers playing this year.
They're going to have to find out who the quarterback is next year. Is it B.J. Denker? Could be someone else. But tell you what, a lot to be proud about. 8-5, tremendous way to finish the season, especially when you consider the way they won this game.
Well, I think, too, you know, this is the first year of a completely different system. I mean, Rich Rod comes in, installs a system that always has success. He's always going to be a great offensive coach. They're always going to score a bunch of points. It does boil down to defense. And their defense, I'd like to say, got some stops. Nevada, they get banged up at the quarterback spot. They get conservative late. They have a chance to maybe get a 4th down conversion to keep it going. They have a chance to get an onside kick. They gave you a bunch of gifts. Arizona took advantage of it, and Matt Scott had a heck of a year. And that was a heck of a gift for Rich Rod, a guy that redshirted a year ago. The previous coach, Coach Stoops, redshirts him, so you get him for a full year. And his arm, we talked about his legs too, but his arm down the stretch making big plays.
And we're picking on you a little bit because the defense was optional, but Maximus style, I asked this question: are you not entertained?
I'm entertained.
I think everybody enjoyed the first bowl game of the season. What a remarkable comeback it was for Arizona, 49-48, the final score. Your upcoming bowl games, taking you through the early part of the week leading up to the holidays: San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl, the Beef O'Brady's Bowl in St. Petersburg, R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl, the Mako Bowl Las Vegas. Boise State, very familiar with Vegas. I think they're wondering, how is it exactly that you get to lose a game and crash the BCS party? They'd love for Northern Illinois to sort that out if they could. On the way, more thoughts on the bowl games at hand, including Chucky doing what he does, scooting to the end zone, low scoring, as the Rockets are battling out on the blue turf in Boise.
The boys use Capital One Venture miles for their annual football trip. That's double miles you can actually use. Tragically, their buddy got sacked by blackouts.
But it's our tradition.
That's roughing the cardholder. But with the Capital One Venture card, you get double miles you can actually use. Ready, flight? Anytime.
Scoreboard doesn't lie.
What's in your wallet? Hut. I have me on my fantasy team.
Rated M for mature. Where are we?
And so you come at last.
Get your limited edition Xbox 360 console.
Join us at ProjectLuna.com.
Steakhouses do big, but not double XL big. Only Taco Bell's got triple the premium juicy steak and tons of toppings on a giant plate of crunchy tortilla chips. The new double XL steak nachos from Taco Bell. Yeah, we do big.
There are over 400,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of us will be going pro in something other than sports.
Patrick Young with an offensive outburst tonight. What a way to punctuate a feisty first half.
There's your first touch to Hill.
And he draws the foul. And Billy Donovan is incensed. He launches for the game, and we go to overtime.
This game is cooked, glazed, and about to be sliced, it looks like.
The guy far right would tell you it's great to be a Florida Gator. Florida and Arizona, top 10 matchup, 10 Eastern time from McHale Center, one of the best venues in all of America for college hoops. How about this one? Tom Crean in Indiana taking on Brad Stevens and Butler. Brad Stevens, what a remarkable job he's done. His team is up 3 late. Zeller, Yogi, big 3, ties the game up. Butler trying to get the win, stick out the buzzer, no. In overtime, Butler's got a ton of guys who fouled out. Alex Barlow, a walker who had 1 bucket a year ago, gets that one to drop. Hoosiers down 2. Jordan Halls gets it. Gets a screen, gets some momentum. It's good if it goes, and it goes begging. And Butler knocks off Indiana, the first loss of the season for IU. Coach Stevens had some high praise for Indiana, understandably so, but they get the victory. Chucky, not just with the feet, he can go up top and do it that way as well. Utah State leading by 4, a little lower scoring affair than earlier this afternoon.
Up next for Career Day, quarterback Aaron Rodgers.
That State Farm agent said she helps people. What do you do?
I play football.
That's not a job.
Well,
Did you save my dad hundreds with the discount double check?
no, but I was MVP last year.
Mr. Hubble says trophies are for people with self-esteem issues.
Who's Mr. Hubble?
That's Rod Hubble.
No, it is not.
For savings, we're best in class.
Hey, Roger! Discount double check!
Get to a better state. State Farm.
What's better, faster or slower?
Faster!
Yeah, what's fast?
My mom's car and a cheetah.
Okay.
A spaceship.
Spaceship. And what's slow?
My grandma's slow.
Would you like her better if she was fast?
I bet she would like it if she was fast.
Maybe give her some turbo boosters.
Tape a cheetah to her back.
Tape a cheetah to her back. Seems like you've thought about this before.
It's not complicated. Faster is better. An iPhone 5 downloads fastest on AT&T 4G.
If you're a New York or New Jersey resident who has been diagnosed with asbestos-related mesothelioma or lung cancer, only a local law firm has the experience to navigate the complexities of the New York, New Jersey courts. Whites & Luxenberg is an acknowledged leader in asbestos litigation in New York and New Jersey, and is the local firm other firms are most likely to refer their asbestos cases to. So don't be fooled by misleading advertising. If the firm is from out of town, they're just not New York or New Jersey savvy. At Whites & Luxenberg, we fight to win. New York and New Jersey's own Whites & Luxenberg.
You locate your nearest shelter, you go down there, and you pick out the perfect match for you. Me.
Some news from around the sports world this Saturday. The presidents of the 7 non-FBS football members of the Big East, as expected, voted 7-0 to leave the conference. The departure expected to take place in 2015. And Ravens linebacker Ray Lewis will not play Sunday against the Broncos. He's not played since suffering a torn triceps muscle against Dallas in mid-October. Danny Moles, one of the top tacklers in all the land, knocked out of the game right there. Can he come back in the second half? Can Toledo come back? For Jesse and David, I'm Scott. Happy holidays. Enjoy the second half from Boise.
So anyway, I've been to a lot of places. You know, I've helped a lot of people save a lot of money. But today, things have been a little strange. Meep, meep. Meep, meep. What a strange place.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
This is Karen and Jeremiah. They don't know it yet, but they're gonna fall in love. Get married, have a couple of kids, move to the country, and live a long, happy life together where they almost never fight about money. Because right after they get married, they'll find some retirement people who are paid on salary, not commission. They'll get straightforward guidance and be able to focus on other things, like each other, which isn't rocket science. It's just common sense. From TD Ameritrade.
Would anyone like a little more cheese and crackers?
Or how about a little more room on the couch, But my wife likes to record her home makeover shows at the same time my son records his shows about wizards, so...
We should go.
No, stay. It's not like I can watch TV anyway. Let's get down on this cheese. Rob, you look like a brie man if I've ever seen one.
Upgrade to DirecTV and record 5 shows at once. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
What's better than hand-scooped ice cream? Hand-scooped ice cream between 2 chocolate chip cookies. The chocolate chip cookie ice cream sandwich. Free with a Memphis barbecue burger combo. Only at Hardee's and Carl's Jr.
The University of Transformation. Opportunity. Leadership. The University of Environment. Development. And optimum quality of life. The University of Toledo. Higher education has never been more relevant.
You're watching ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
Welcome back to the famous Idaho Potato Bowl on ESPN as part of Capital One Bowl Week. 2 teams that are used to putting a lot of points on the board have been stymied here through the first half today on a cold day in Boise. 10-6, Utah State with the lead over Toledo. Welcome back, everybody. Tom Hart alongside Mike Bellotti. So we expected the offenses to be a little bit more productive today, but we didn't expect Toledo to lose both of its best players on each side of the ball.
Well, I think that's been a real crucial thing. In fact, they actually in some way have lost 3 players. Dan Moles hurt on the first play of the game and not playing at all. Now David Floyle and their leading rusher. So 2 great players on both sides of the ball, but we have not seen Terrence Owens either. And I'm not certain if it's not. He's probably hurt a little bit more. We'll see, because they talked about he would play, and I think Danton has done okay, but the reality is they need a spark right now. And we'll see Moles here get hit on this first kickoff, and he went to the ground, and I think they thought he might have been out for a second. I don't know if it's a concussion, neck or shoulder, but it's been not good for the Rockets. Then obviously Llewellyn re-injuring that ankle, unable to get off. And then the big play of the game has been Chucky Keaton, probably the player of the game so far. This option run, he finishes it so well, and he's done a nice job throwing the ball too.
Second longest run of the season for Keaton. Let's check in once again with Quint Kessenich now.
Coach, what was the single key development in the first half?
Well, you know, we didn't play very good on offense. That was the biggest issue for us. I think the defense is doing a nice job. We got to, we took care of the football. We got to sustain some drives if we're going to win the game.
What needs to change?
Consistency in the run game. You know, we're getting off pace. We're not getting in good positions. We got to stay in control down scenarios and take shots when we get them, but we got to run the ball better.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Quint, thanks. Here's a look at the first half numbers. Utah State has run for 113 yards today. The majority of those coming from the quarterback, Chucky Keaton, who has 88 and is averaging 11 yards a carry after that long touchdown run. And time of possession, you know, basically both coaching staffs told us they don't really care about time of possession in a game like this.
I think it's less meaningful. It's who scores the points. Yardage doesn't matter. Time of possession doesn't matter. What matters is points.
So the second half underway here in Boise. And from the goal line, this is Chuck Jacobs. Jacobs trying to find the outside, and he scrambles out of bounds, taking it to the 24. Chucky Keaton, a sophomore quarterback from Houston out of Cypress Creek High School, came into this season after retooling a lot of his mechanics, especially lower body mechanics. It's made him into a better passer, and he still, obviously, as we've seen before, can run. He's thrown for 130 yards today, and he's averaging 11 yards a carry on the ground.
That passing platform for a young quarterback makes a lot of difference when balls will finish for you on the deep ball. And that's a lot of the stuff is just how do you stand? We talk about a passing posture.
Kerwynn Williams will start the second half on the ground. It gets wrestled down to the ground at the line of scrimmage by Trent Voss into a starting role today at the outside linebacker spot.
That's one of the plays they ran at the end of the first half that generated big yardage. Nice job by Toledo, makes some adjustments or recognizing that power running game inside, not allowing the running back to get started. Coach Anderson not very happy about that either.
You know what, but Utah State fans should be happy that Gary Anderson is not only on the sideline here today, but he's going to remain on the sideline in Logan for years to come after numerous overtures as they prepared for this bowl. Chucky Keaton goes deep. And a fine grab and play on the ball by Matt Austin to set up Utah State in Toledo territory.
And that's exactly what we have talked about in terms of that throw the ball up where your guy can get it, let him use his height advantage and his strength. You see here, he gets away with a little bit of a push off, but the reality is he times it so perfectly.
Back to throw Keaton again. Looking to Austin, another push, and that one will draw the flag.
There was an initial push early from the defensive player, and then finally he pushed off, and obviously going to call it against the offensive player. They like that.
Offense, number 4. 15-yard penalty. Remains first down.
They like that matchup. Obviously, they talked at halftime about we're getting some one-on-one situations. Let's go to Austin. Let's put the ball up for him. But obviously there, put the hands on, pushed off right as the ball came down. That's the way he gained the advantage. Great call by the officials.
Cheatham Norrells, the cornerback sophomore from Toledo, with the coverage, and Austin will take a play off here. Now it's 1st and 25. Back on the wrong side of the 50. They get it out to Chuck Jacobs, and Jacobs will take it past midfield. Voss there to break it up with Byron Best.
Much better throw that time, allowing the running back / wide receiver to catch the ball on the move and then split the defenders, get back a significant chunk of yardage, trying to get to a manageable 3rd down now.
Jacobs takes a breather. Keaton's gets bumped as he throws, and that is at the sideline, and they're going to say complete. And that is a manageable 3rd down that they're looking at now after that great grab by Bruce Natson and fantastic footwork.
They ran a play action pass to give him time, and then he drops his hand. That's one of those bad mechanics things, but this is a great job of just touching that toe down inbounds. You only need one at the college level. Great concentration and great awareness to put that toe down.
So 3rd and 5 after a couple of passes from Chucky Keaton. They turned predominantly to the pass game since the break. Blitz coming up the middle. Keaton lets it go complete right at the sticks, and it'll depend on the spot. Cameron Webb hauled it in, and they're going to mark that one past the yellow line.
Yeah, they gave him the 1st down. The official down here marked it definitely. Thought he caught the ball across. Great job of hanging on to the ball in traffic, too.
Cameron Webb, a former walk-on. This Utah State team is littered with guys that came to school and paid their own way to start. And a big chunk of them from right there in state. Now they're playing action as Keaton dips and throws. Nearly picked. Mark Singer had a play on the ball, and that will bring up 2nd and 10.
Mark Singer is one of those veterans back there playing hurt. He's missed some games this year. He's been dinged up, but he's not going to miss this game. He's going to find a way to make a play. He reads the quarterback's eye. You can see him right there breaking on the ball, does a great job, and almost picks it off. Somewhat ill-advised throw by Chucky.
Once this bowl ends, it'll be a busy season for the doctors in Toledo. They have a number of postseason surgeries already slated for Monday. Singer is one of them to get some work done on that knee. Chuck Jacobs, no game.
I think they talked about 8 surgeries that are going to have to take place in the offseason, and you're right. That's not that unusual, but it just shows the toughness of these guys to play through these things and then offset the surgery till the end of the season.
And a couple of those key players in the defensive side, not only Singer, but also Danny Farr, senior tackle, also playing injured. Another 3rd and long for Utah State. Keaton scrambles, flag on the play. Well short of the 1st down. Junior Silvestri escorts Keaton out of bounds.
And that usually looks like the territory where they call holding.
And what a big difference, Coach.
Holding. Offense, number 66. 10-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
What a big difference going from what was 3rd and 10 to 3rd and 6.
Right, and now the question is whether they might decline this and let them kick a field goal. I think they should take it to get them out of field goal range.
That penalty is declined. Brings up 4th down.
Huh, they just let them have a field goal then. That's an interesting development, and I would not have done it that way. I think if he has to think this over again, he might say, why did we do that?
Well, it'll be a long field goal attempt. And so far today, Diaz has hit 1 from 27. It was a chip shot. This will be a 44-yard attempt. His long is 53. This is about the same distance from where they faked it before. They let him kick it away. And Diaz hits his 2nd field goal of the game.
Nice job. Not a lot of doubt on that one. He just jammed that right through.
So Toledo declines the penalty, and Utah State turns it into 3. And the 2nd field goal of the game for Nick Diaz. Aggies with a touchdown advantage here in the 2nd half in Boise. Back at the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, folks, that is a 2-ton spud on a flatbed. You know how many thousands of pounds of bacon bits you'd need to dress that thing up?
Is that a spud on steroids right there? They better have some testing going on out there.
HGH potato.
Wow.
And that guy stole your French fry hat, Mike.
And my chips. And my whole dinner there, right? Come on.
Number 22, Utah State with a touchdown lead. We have not seen much from the dynamic Bernard Reedy, who was the MVP of the Military Bowl last year with 3 touchdowns and 126 yards of receptions. He's also a great kick returner.
And as this game wears on, he's going to become a bigger factor because Toledo's done really a great job. It's a one-possession ball game. They get a break one way or the other, a turnover or bust Reedy loose. This is a tie game.
2 kickoff returns for touchdowns this season for Reedy. And he is backed up and will bring it out after hesitating. Reedy trying to find the edge. He gets there and has the sideline. Key block to take it past the 30.
Sometimes those delayed coming out of the end zone actually serves an advantage because the defense or coverage team can overrun their assignment lanes. But he does a nice job. He has no fear, absolutely, no fear of taking that ball out. If I had his speed, I'd do it too.
Well, you keep eating all those potato chips, you're not going to have his speed. It's Austin Danton back at quarterback for Toledo. Question as to whether or not Terrence Owens would see time at quarterback today. We have yet to see him. David Pasquale with the carry on first down and muscles his way to a gain of nearly 5. Kyler Fackrell with the stop. We talked about it before the second half began, Coach. The odds of seeing Terrence Owens grow slimmer by the play because Danton was less than perfect in the first half.
Absolutely. He was okay, but they needed a spark. They talked about both would play early and then they go with the hot hand. The fact that Terrence Owens has not played, I think, probably speaks more to his physical condition. He's probably not as healthy as they want him to be, or it may not have loosened up today in the cold weather as well as he hoped.
Danton 7 of 13, 108 yards in the first half. He was sacked twice. Here comes pressure again, and he slings it out short of the marker to Cordell Scott, the Illinois transfer. Let's check in once again with Quinn.
Coach, I really agree with your thought about Owens, his health. For the first time today, coming out to start this third quarter, I saw him limp out of the locker room. I think being in there, standing around on that ankle, certainly didn't help things. For the first time, he looked injured. Thought he warmed up pretty well early, but now it's starting to tighten up on him.
Last year, Terrence Owens carried this Toledo team down the stretch, final 3 games of the season in the bowl victory. Now it's Austin Danton. His 25th career start, but a bench player for the majority of the season. To the slant for a first down, but a flag. And Nevin Lawson wrestles Bernard Reedy to the ground.
Where that came from, it looks like a defensive holding call, because you're looking either thinking pass interference on offense or defensive holding.
CFO West crew led by Eddie Shelton.
Holding, defense, number 36, 10-yard penalty, first down.
McCade Brady, the senior from Cove, Utah, BYU transfer, started his college career as a track star in Provo. And he's bouncing back from a broken jaw. Didn't play against Idaho. His jaw has been wired shut. They opened it up just in time for him to enjoy a meaty prime rib this week.
And I guarantee he loved that, because that wired jaw means a liquid diet, which guys don't appreciate too much.
Reedy out of the backfield on first down, and he takes it to the 45-yard line, a gain of 6. And so there's one way you can get Bernard Reedy more involved, is to put him in the backfield.
Yeah, I think they're going to find a myriad of ways to try to get the ball into his hands, because he has the breakaway speed, the game-breaking skills they need.
Over 1,000 yards receiving for the all-conference wide receiver. And they give him the lead blocker here. Reedy bounces it to the outside on a first down.
They may do more steady diet of this, because he's not afraid to run inside, but he's got the power. If they close too fast, he can bounce it out and turn it up. He's a threat.
Zach Rosenbauer, the tight end, in there as an H-back fullback now with Reedy.
You know, McCade Brady, one thing too, what a tough guy. After he broke his jaw, he snuck back in the game a little bit, and now he's back, his first time getting real live hits off a broken jaw.
Reedy tripped up. Another nice gain on first down. Devontae Glover right. They said one of the issues when Brady came back into the game, with the broken jaw. After he snuck away from the training staff, they had packed his jaw, his mouth full of gauze to try and stop the bleeding. Well, he calls a lot of the coverages from his safety spot. No one could understand a word he was saying because he was talking with a mouthful of cotton.
Like Marlon Brando in The Godfather.
How does man free sound coming from Marlon Brando? Pascal still in there running back, and Dan's going to take off on his own. Quarterback run, and he crawls forward for 2. Jake Dowdy, former walk-on first-team all-conference performer there for the stop, coming off of a 12-tackle performance against Idaho. He's another one of those Utah kids that walked onto the program, and Gary Anderson doing a great job building the program with kids from in-state, now up to 55 on the roster.
Absolutely, and they're getting quality kids that are coming on as walk-ons, then becoming so good they're put on scholarship. They help turn this program around.
Here their starting linebackers are former walk-ons. 3rd and 3. Dan checks again, and the play clock rolling down again, and he's got to burn a timeout.
Timeout.
When we come
Toledo.
back, I want to know how much of that is on the quarterback and how much of that is on the coaching staff. Toledo will be facing a 3rd and 3 when we return to Boise.
Idahoan Foods applauds all you Potato Bowl fans. Yes, we're talking the fluffy, homemade taste of Idahoan mashed potatoes. We tip our hats to our growers, our employees, and the kitchens worldwide that serve our 100% Idaho potatoes. And to you, Mr. and Mrs. Potato Bowl fan, we pledge to keep bringing you the best potato bowls in the world. Go Potatoes!
To those who got this season's most tech-savvy way to travel, the Buick Verano with Bluetooth and IntelliLink Standard, enjoy. To those who got something else, well, there's still time.
ESPN College Football, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, is brought to you by the Idaho Potato Commission, ProjectLuna.com, and the Experience Buick Lease. It's a new lease on luxury.
Welcome back to Boise. That's the inside of the Boise Fry Company, voted as the best fries in the country, and Mike Bellotti now knows where he's going for dinner tonight.
And lunch tomorrow, and,
13-6, Utah State leads Toledo. So far today, Austin Danton has had to burn 2 timeouts, and they've taken 1 delay of game penalty due to the play clock. They're playing without their starting running back. They, at least a half dozen times, have been in the danger zone with the play clock winding down. Now a 3rd and 3. Danton wants to scramble and eyes up, and he picks up the first down and tripped up inside the 15-yard line. A great run.
Great job, great awareness. When it's all closed like that, nobody left in the middle, get past the first wave and make the first down. I don't think it's been Austin Danton's fault. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to put that on the coaches. They've got to do much less check with me and just call plays to avoid letting the defense fool them.
14-yard scramble by Danton on 3rd down.
Also, when you're behind in the second half, you don't need to waste timeouts because of that.
Down by a touchdown. Rosenbauer motions. They get Reedy in the backfield, and play action to him, to the end zone. Tipped and picked! Utah State with the interception. Kyler Fackrell, the freshman, with his 3rd pick of the season. And the Aggies stop the Toledo drive with a takeaway.
What they say, rips, strips, bats, and picks, right? And that's exactly what happened. Got that ball booted around, tried to head the play action, had the receiver open for the touchdown, too. And that's a dagger in the heart of Toledo to be down there. You see the fake right there? And a great job. The ball tipped and batted right there. Great job of team defense.
2 all-conference linebackers team up. Dowdy with the tip, Fackrell with the interception.
That's one of the things, too, that Utah State talks about is eyes to the football. Get more eyes on the ball.
Here's Kerwynn Williams. And Williams with some momentum. Jermaine Robinson finally with the stop. I want to go back to what you said, eyes to the football, and it goes back to how Utah State plays defense in many ways. It's not a true zone in some ways?
Well, if you play more zone, some people play a lot of man-to-man or matchup zone where the guys turn their back and just chase down the routes. But when you get more eyes to the football by playing true zone where everybody's eyes are to the ball and to the quarterback.
2nd and 3, here's Kerwynn Williams. Can't stiff arm his way away from Cheatham Norrells, and there's a flag on the play.
I think to add injury to insult, it's going to be against Utah State.
Holding. Offense. Number 74. 10-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down.
Kerwynn Williams is trying to state his case near the open microphone. Kevin Wimpy, one of the 2 Wimpy brothers on that offensive line, both from Highland, Utah. His brother Kyle is the right guard, transfers from Idaho State.
As this game continues, Utah State needs to be able to rely on Kerwynn Williams to run the football, run the clock, and keep the ball away from Toledo. Look for him to have an enlarged role here.
Bunch to the far side. They go there for the screen. This is Williams. He's got room, and Williams makes a move past the 40. Robert Bell finally brings him down. A pickup of 21 on the screen to Kerwynn Williams.
And that's when the more times he touches the ball, the more chance and opportunity for explosive play.
And now running the ball after the catch. Picks up 3, Junior Silvestri with the stop.
You know, he's a young man. That ball's not very heavy. He can carry it a lot.
Williams, senior from Las Vegas, had 0 scholarship offers at the FBS level coming out of Valley High School, and he made his hometown team pay. He absolutely torched UNLV in their game earlier this season, and soon to be conference opponent as Utah State makes the move to the Mountain West. Back to the ground, and Joe Hill this time. Sophomore from Fullerton, California. Utah State has a couple of wins against Mountain West teams this season, including Colorado State. They are on the upswing and will fit in well with a lot of that talent in the Mountain West.
No question. They're hitting it at a high point for themselves in terms of confidence in the program and improved recruiting that will help them compete.
Already have a win against Utah this season. 2 losses came on the road at Wisconsin. A late punt return for the Badgers gave them the lead. A missed field goal there and a missed field goal against BYU. Their only losses, both coming on the road. Off the hands of the intended receiver. There's a bullet to Kellen Bartlett. We mentioned this earlier as well in terms of Utah State head coach Gary Anderson. He has said no to a couple of raises that could have been in his back pocket heading into the holiday season.
Well, he was a very sought-after coach, and I think what he's doing now is trying to get money for his assistants. It's one thing when you get there and you have great assistants, you've got to be able to keep them, and you want to increase that salary pool for the assistants.
On 4th down, they'll punt it away, or at least show punt. Gary Anderson has never lived east of Park City, Utah for any stretch of time, so he is right at home there in the Beehive State. Played at the University of Utah and coached there for a number of years. Reedy backs all the way to the 2. Still wants to gamble and bring it out. And he's tackled from behind and takes it out to the 7-yard line. So Bernard Reedy trying to make something happen. May have cost his team some field position.
Yeah, probably 13 to 15 yards there. The reality is, though, at this point in the game, I know he's getting anxious, too. He wants to handle that football, give him every opportunity.
It was a 51-yard punt and a 5-yard return. Uphill climb for Toledo to come.
To those who received both the full-size room and the EPA estimated 36-mile-per-gallon Buick LaCrosse with the assist, enjoy. To those who sacrificed one for the other, there's still time. Celebrate the holidays and lease this 2013 Buick LaCrosse with 2 years of scheduled maintenance for around $299 per month.
When it comes to the financial obstacles military families face, we understand. At USAA, we know military life is different. We've been there. That's why every bit of financial advice we offer is geared specifically to current and former military members and their families.
Dad!
Life brings obstacles. USAA brings advice. Call or visit us online. We're ready to help.
Morning, guys. What's on the agenda?
At 9:27, I'm going to give you a ticket the second your meter expires.
Sweet. Professor.
I'm moving your 10:15 class way across campus.
Making me sprint to be on time.
You can try.
Kevin.
I'll spend our entire 1 o'clock lab texting my girlfriend.
Will I do all the work?
They're backed up a little bit, but still a one-possession game for a pair of teams who played every loss this season within one possession. So they are both very familiar with where they stand here. Austin Danton at quarterback for Toledo. And a hand up to Bernard Reedy. Staying plenty of time at tailback, and he takes it out to the 10. Will Davis forces him out of bounds. Toledo's 3 losses this season have come by a touchdown. Utah State's 2 losses have come by a total of 5 points. Is that an advantage on a day like today when you have a one-possession game late in the third?
Absolutely. They both know how to hang around. They both know how to win. They both know how to finish games. Those 5 losses were the 5 bowl teams, 2 who are going to BCS games. So these guys have played great competition over the year.
Wisconsin and Northern Illinois headed to the Orange Bowl. There are 2 teams that will be playing in BCS bowls that were on these 2 team slates. On second down, Danton to the 14. A couple yards shy of the first down to Reedy, and Will Davis with the coverage.
Interesting 3rd and 2. Long 2 sets up a lot of things. The offense can go for it with a power running play. They can run a play action, slip it back in the flat, or they can say the heck with it, strong play action, and go deep and try to win the game right here. Or tie it up, I see.
Well, instead of bringing the power back in, they go with Cassius McDowell. Pascal stays on the sideline for now. And Reedy will head out to a slot.
Part of that confusion, that puts a lot of stress on the quarterback. We're down inside of 5 seconds already in the play clock.
With 1, they get it off. Danton stands tall, complete, and a first down grab made by Justin Olak, sophomore from Shady Side, Ohio.
I think they might have changed their mind on what personnel group and what play they wanted, and they've got to be better at that on 3rd downs.
Danton able to convert there, 1st and 10 now, and there's the check again. He's thrown for 122 yards, but the last possession ended on a pick after a lengthy drive against the Aggies. Danton pressured, got a man wide open, Reedy, he couldn't haul it in.
Really a nice throw under pressure by Danton. He got hit and was on the move, but he put that ball out there where only Reedy could catch it. And with Reedy's speed, he made a great effort to get to the football. We watch his play action. They're moving the pocket, try to buy some time, throwing, getting hit just as he threw, and the ball's right there. And I think Reedy probably should have had that.
Still waiting for a big play from Bernard Reedy.
And that turnover in the red zone, we probably should have been surprised. Utah State is, I think, 3rd in the nation in red zone defense.
And once again, a delay a game against Toledo. That's a 2nd against the Rockets today, and they burned 2 timeouts trying to avoid delay a game.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
You have to know as a coach and as a quarterback, if you have motion involved with the play, it's got to be set up faster.
For more on that confusion, let's check in quickly with Quint.
Well, that was a situation where Bernard Reedy, after the drop, was tired, but the bench didn't initially see that he was coming off, so his sub was on there late. The prior 3rd down, they sent in 2 different personnel packages.
On 2nd and long, they turn to the running game. And McDowell on the left side stays alive with the helmets coming off. And that'll set up a 3rd and long. Nielsen's got to come off for 1 play. They're using Bernard Reedy a lot. Obviously, he's out there on the special teams in the return game and now turning to him in the backfield. So you can imagine that he did need a break. 3rd and 9. 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, he's seen quite a bit of touches of the football here lately, both with special teams, from the backfield, throwing the ball down the field, and they're going to use him more as this game goes on.
You'd love to have him on the field here on a 3rd and 9. Danton. Complete short of the sticks to Dwight Macon. That'll bring up 4th and a few. Jake Dowdy with the stop for Utah State. Does there come a time where you have to prioritize when your playmaker is on the field and where?
Yes, but sometimes the physical part, you know, if he's that tired, it doesn't feel like he can go as much as you say, hey, we need you here. But, you know, the health and his ability to play and go full speed overrules everything.
So Reedy gets a break, but not the break they wanted because Toledo will have to punt it away. Fair catch at the 33 by Cameron Webb. Here's something Mike Bellotti knows all about. The Rose Bowl is on ESPN New Year's Day as senior running back Monte Ball leads the Badgers against the Cardinals' vaunted D and the granddaddy of them all. The Rose Bowl game presented by Vizio, Wisconsin versus number 6 Stanford. Coverage begins at 4:30 New Year's Day on ESPN and also live on the Watch ESPN app. It's a nice ring you have on, Coach.
Thank you. Yes, that is a Rose Bowl ring, and I've been there a couple times and enjoyed it. That'll be a heck of a slugfest with those two teams.
Brett Bielema calling the Hogs down in Arkansas, and Wisconsin looking at a coaching change. Kerwynn Williams right into the heart of that Toledo defense, but he keeps churning and will pick up a few.
Well, and you know the head coach will be Barry Alvarez for Wisconsin in that game, and he's won a couple Rose Bowls, so it's a pretty good guy to pull back off the bench.
Yeah, not a bad call to the bullpen when you can bring in some experience like that.
Well, and I was kidding somebody, said, you know, he might get to a 4th and 1. He said, go for it. What the heck? What are you going to do, fire me? He's the AD and the football coach.
After the play, personal foul, defense, number 46, unnecessary roughness, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Hank Keithley, and that's a mistake that Toledo cannot afford at this point in the game.
No, you can ill afford to do that. Oftentimes, that's the second guy, you know, at the bottom of the pile, and it just, it's frustrating for everybody involved.
Punched Williams in the back. Could be worse. Could be Arizona. They were throwing haymakers at each other. Here's Keaton now to throw on 1st and 10. To the perimeter, Matt Austin. And Austin muscles his way for a gain of nearly 8. Chris Dukes, redshirt freshman from Cincinnati, Colerain with the coverage, and there's a flag on the play.
That's another late hit type thing. Getting a little bit extracurricular down there. Looks as if it's going to go against Utah State, and we may have just offset that 15-yard penalty.
After the play, personal foul, offense number 91, unnecessary roughness, 15-yard penalty, remains first down.
DJ Tialavea, junior from West Jordan, Utah, gets flagged. And first meeting between these two teams, it's
Correction.
the MAC versus the WAC.
Dead ball foul creates second down.
And we believe he meant 81, Kellen Bartlett, senior tight end.
One of the things as a coach you've got to say is you've got to let all that stuff go. Just play our game. Don't get involved in the talking or anything after the whistle.
On 2nd and 18. Deep ball incomplete. Trying to find Chuck Jacobs overthrown.
There's room down the field against that Toledo defense. In the middle of the field, the deep crossing routes, the inside post routes, it's there if Chucky Keaton can connect. Third and very, very long. So you have to be careful again about the same area of the field. The seam throws there are the type of throws that can get this first down.
Going to go 5 wide, motioning Williams out. Setting up the screen. And Bruce Maxson can't make his way to midfield. Open field tackle will stop him there. Nice play by Toledo's defense. 3 quarters are in the books, and we've got a touchdown game headed to the 4th here in Boise. For 22, Utah State with the lead 13-6 over Toledo. Happy holidays from Boise, where number 22 Utah State has a touchdown lead on Toledo as we start the fourth quarter. This game got off to an awful start for the Rockets when their defensive leader and the nation's leading tackler, Dan Moles, took a shot to the head on the opening kickoff. That remains the only time he was on the field today. And then later in the first half, they lost their starting running back, David Fluellen, who re-aggravated a left ankle injury. Utah State got it going offensively with the option game. Chucky Keaton with his 62-yard touchdown run. Remains our only touchdown of the game. And as we take a look at today's storyline brought to you by K Jewelers, you see the particulars: Moles out, Fluellen out, and Keaton has accounted for 314 yards.
And Terrence Owens hasn't played.
Utah State to punt it away. Reedy says back away from it. And looked like one of Mike Bellotti's wedges with a little backspin at the 16 on the blue turf. And for the first time today, Terrence Owens is starting to get loose.
You know, they said he warmed up and looked good in warm-ups and then standing around for a long time. But the reality is maybe he's just getting warmed up, getting loose, and they feel they need him.
He took over the starting job against Wyoming, was the MAC West Player of the Week, second game of the season, 300 yards passing and 4 touchdowns in that game. Finished the season last year and got a bowl win in the Military Bowl. Was 6th in the nation in passing efficiency and was the starter for the bulk of the season. Now battling an ankle injury in for the first time. And hands it off to Reedy, and Reedy gets stopped for a loss of 1.
The interesting thing is he hasn't played live football in 3 to 4 weeks. And so when will he be able to run and move the way he needs to? Anticipate the throws. They do believe he's got a better mid-range arm in terms of throwing the balls down the field, the 15 to 20 yard type routes.
It's been about a 30-day layoff for Owens, 25 for the rest of the team. Didn't play in the finale against Akron. He did not practice at all last week, but he practiced this entire week here in Boise. To throw for the first time, and the lefty lets it go. Complete, not perfect, but he got it to Cordell Scott. And that'll set up 3rd and 2. Terrence Owens, Jr. from Cleveland out of Glenville High School.
And he runs well, he throws well. They love what he did this year, led him to 8 straight victories. And he has the combination of good arm down the field, good accuracy, but he can also tuck it and run when needed.
He struggled in that loss against Northern Illinois through 3 picks. And at 22 of 32. Last time we've seen game action. Extra man comes, and he gets rid of it, complete for a first down, finding Justin Olak. It's pretty good timing for a guy who's been out of game action.
Yeah, and one of the things they talked about was Terrence Owens, they felt, could make all the throws to all the different receivers. And he just does it naturally, whether it's down the field, zipping it to the sideline. I guarantee you it's different for the Utah State defense now, seeing a left-hander throw when you've been used to seeing the ball come out of the right side of the quarterback.
4 wide here. He wants to throw again to the out route again, and incomplete. Coverage by Will Davis on Alonzo Russell.
And Will Davis has been a little quiet tonight. They haven't thrown at him, or he hasn't been able to make too many plays. Nice, tight coverage in that regard. He broke on the ball and helped break it up.
Davis leads the nation in passes defended, 1.75 a game, and has 5 straight games with a pick. The senior from Spokane, Washington. On the sweep, they want to throw back to Owens. He's open. And he's stuck at the 40-yard line, but picks up the first down. Will Davis stayed home to make the tackle. Dwight Macon took the handoff, turned around, and threw it. He's their 3rd-string quarterback.
And I can tell you that he must obviously be healthy. You wouldn't do this with a gimpy, lame quarterback. Throw it back to him where he's going to get tackled in the open field. So I'm surprised someone he hasn't been in the game earlier.
Owens down the sideline, off the hands of Alonzo Russell. May have been a game changer.
Busting the coverage right there. I don't know if the corner got beat or the safety didn't get over the top, but the reality was that was a great throw by Owens. He spun that down the field, and Russell is sick at himself right now for not being able to catch it. Maybe hurt slightly too. Tried to catch that one off the side and just couldn't quite get it done.
Davis was the nearest cornerback when they said they wanted to challenge Will Davis today. They're not sure that he saw the kind of wide receiver speed throughout the season in the WAC that Toledo has. Play clock close again. Owens will keep it on the zone read. He's got room. And he's brought down by a handful of jersey and a flag on the play. May have been a face mask as well. Boje Filimoyatu with the stop.
He's obviously providing a spark with both his legs and his arm. The ball is coming out.
After
his
the
decision
play,
making.
personal foul, defense, number 20, late hit, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It was Devontae Glover Wright who drew the flag.
And we've talked about this is a one-possession ball game, guys. They're down there now getting a chance to potentially tie this game up.
Last time they came this close, Danton threw an interception. Cassius McDowell is now in at running back. First series of the game for Terrence Owens, who has 10 starts under his belt this season. Reedy in motion. Owens caught and then dropped. He had it in his hands, but when Justin Olak got his feet down, the ball came out as well.
Too bad. That ball comes out a little fat. There's no question that the intensity of the ball being thrown by Terrence Owens is stronger than Austin Danton. This ball is spun well. It's thrown high only where you get it. Unfortunate. Great job by the defender of actually getting his hand in there, knocking the ball out.
Makes sense that he would have a lively fastball. Terrence Owens was drafted in the 40th round by the Padres, even though he hasn't played baseball since he was in 9th grade. Reedy gets to the edge, and he takes it to the 20. That was nearly a horse collar tackle, and that's what head coach Matt Campbell was asking for.
If he had taken him down immediately, it probably could have been called. But the fact that did not take him down immediately, ran 3 more steps, they usually let that go.
3rd and 1. Reedy with 7 carries here in the second half. Got to guard against the run, don't you? The quarterback run?
Absolutely. Anything here. That's why it's an either or down. You can run it, you can throw it, you can run it a variety of ways. Most people wouldn't even take the ball off the line of scrimmage in this situation.
They fake the sweep. McDowell muscles his way to a first down for Toledo.
But every defense in that situation has to stop it from the inside out. So you're going to plug the inside gaps, and then hopefully you run them to the sideline.
Let's look ahead a little bit towards the tail end of this drive. Is Toledo in a position where they would go for it on 4th down?
Very much could, because, you know, how many possessions they're going to get. I think it depends on the trust they have in the quarterback. And obviously, I'm not sure why they waited until the 4th quarter. I think that'll be a big question for us after the game and during the game about if Terrence Owens is healthy, why hasn't he played earlier?
Good things come to those who wait, I believe. David Pascal joins him in the backfield. Owens over the middle, tips and incomplete. That's how they got their last pick. It was in Jake Dowdy, tipped it, and Dowdy got his hands on another one.
That is the same idea, that zone dropping linebacker, reading the quarterback's eyes and just continuing to find the ball. You get more tip balls that way, and hopefully result in a lot more interceptions. Second and 10 here. You're trying to get back to a manageable 3rd down. It depends on what the defense gives you, because you still have a shot to the end zone too.
Reedy straight ahead, slips his way through and makes it down to the 13. Dowdy with the stop.
Nice move, and he put them in a very manageable, 3rd and 4 or 5 situation where now it's an either or down. Now it doesn't put the advantage defense. It's more offensively. You still can run for it. You've got power run with the quarterback run. You've got option, but you've also got routes that can catch the ball, 5-yard routes that catches the ball for the first down.
Toledo goes 5 wide on 3rd and 5.
Big cushion at the top on all the receivers.
Owens complete inside the 10 to David Pascal, and he's going to be short of the marker.
Well, here we are. We're going to talk about it right now. It looks to me as if they're going to go for it rather than kick a field goal. So that may have answered our question about whether this was 4-down territory.
They gave away points to Utah State by declining a penalty in the second quarter. And now they're going to pass on the 3 here, down by a touchdown. 4th and 1.
Big opportunity for Utah State. Demonstrate their prowess in the red zone.
Late clock winding with the shifts, and they're going to use a timeout.
My gosh, my gosh, my gosh. I tell you what, you cannot allow that to happen. I keep talking about the fact that from a coaching perspective, you either need to call a play, get your substitution group in earlier. If you have that many shifts and motions, you can't run that play.
Well, the silver lining here, Toledo gets a chance to talk about the biggest play of the game, facing a 4th and 1. Fourth quarter and a touchdown game. Toledo trailing and facing a 4th and 1. Communication and timing has been a big issue for the Rockets today. They've burned 3 timeouts, avoiding delay of game penalties, and they've been flagged twice for delay of game. And coach, it comes down to communicating from the press box all the way down to the field to the quarterbacks.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're trying to be too cute or too fine in matching up the defense, matching up protections, but you've got to make that decision earlier. You've got to eliminate the shifts in motion, one or the other.
And now a 4th and 1. Pasquale is the running back next to Terrence Owens, who just entered to start this series. This could be the game. They're going to put Owens under center. Now he backs and they shift again. Owens will take it himself. He's hit behind the line and stopped. A.J. Patayali is the first one there.
They tried to run a quarterback power. They pull you off guard. They had lead blockers for him. They could not create a hole. He tried to go just north and south and use his own power and speed. Didn't quite make it. That's a great job by the Utah State defense in terms of stepping up. Here you can see it. The off-guard pulls. He steps up. Might have had a chance to go outside, but tried to go the shortest distance. Did not have a chance to make that first down.
So the defense coming up big, a top 15 defense in the nation. And the defensive coordinator, Dave Aranda, is fired up.
He should be. He deserves to be. It's a great stand.
So they turn him over on downs. Utah State takes it away. And now it's up to the Toledo defense playing without their key player. And the ball is loose. Toledo takes it away. It came out of the hands of Williams, and the Rockets will get another chance. Jermaine Robinson with the recovery. Welcome to bowl season.
Talk about why coaches get gray. You see this head right here? That's a lot of plays where you thought you had a first down. All of a sudden the ball goes the other direction. Ball ripped out there, just knocked out. And unfortunately for the Rockets, they get a chance now. They're back inside the 30-yard line, looking at another opportunity to tie this game up.
Second fumble recovery of the season for Jermaine Robinson. Their 14-play drive got him nothing, and now they'll start over with great field position and a second series for Terrence Owens. Reedy has a blocker in front, and the convoy takes him to a gain of nearly 9 on first down before Jake Dowdy brings him down.
And if you get Reedy ahead of steam, where he can follow a blocker through the hole, he's really dangerous at bouncing it and be gone.
Reedy again. First down carry, and he is whistled out of bounds. Will Davis there to take him out. First and 10, Toledo. It's the WAC versus the MAC, and as we get late in the fourth quarter, this would officially qualify as MACtion. Fifth trip into the red zone. Toledo's only managed 6 points. Now to the power back Pasquale, and picks up a few on first down. Let me ask you this. We're at nearly midway through the fourth quarter. It was 4-down territory on the last possession. Is there any reason it wouldn't be 4-down territory again?
Yes, because they got stopped on that 4th down play, a 4th and 1. So I think they would take points out of it and get it. Now, it could still be 4-down territory. Once you go that way, that's probably your mindset. But the reality is they need to get points. Another opportunity down here squandered would, I think, really depress the Toledo Rocket football team.
There comes Reedy. They get it to him in the flat, but it's incomplete.
That might have been a lateral. I don't think it was called that way, but it could have been by the flight of the ball. That would have been really disastrous because it would have put the ball back 5 yards.
Now 3rd and 7. Owens can scramble, directs traffic. The lefty backs up to the end zone. Incomplete. The intended receiver, Justin Olak, ran out of the back of the end zone, and Nevin Lawson was all over him. Now 4th and 7, here comes the kicking team.
Yeah, I think you got to have points. You got to get points. You got to get something out of these 2 trips down here. Here you can see sort of that trailing defense. He's open initially, but Owens is moving away from the ball at that time.
29-yard field goal attempt for Jeremiah Detmer. He's made a pair from 37 today. And so Toledo turns the takeaway into points. And a 9 spot on the board. It's a 4-point game midway through the 4th quarter on the blue turf for Boise.
Earn double miles you can actually use.
Great shots of the Boise Zoo not far from us here at Broncos Stadium. Famous Idaho Potato Bowl, number 22 Utah State with a 4-point advantage on Toledo. 7:28 to go in the 4th quarter. And the Broncos of Boise State preparing for their own bowl game. Got a chance to talk with Chris Peterson today. How's his team looking?
You know, he's not as happy with his offense this year, but he's really pleased with his defense and the way they run the football. That'll be a close, tough game. It depends on which Washington team shows up because they've been very inconsistent. They've played well and beat nationally ranked teams, and then they lose the final game of the season, the in-state rival Washington State. So Chris is prepared whatever happens.
Oh, what a great sight for this bowl game and the money that they continue to pour into the facilities here. Chuck Jacobs running on that blue turf. And he's cut down at the 30-yard line. A solid return for the Aggies of Utah State. Robert Bell with the special team stop. Join us on ESPN3 at the conclusion of this game for the trophy presentation. That'll start immediately after the game ends. And the question is, who will be hoisting that trophy full of potatoes? Utah State with the lead. But Toledo has found a spark in its offense. Matt Austin with the grab, steps out of bounds. A pickup of 7 on first down. If you're Utah State, when do you start thinking about milking the clock a little bit with a 4-point lead?
I think you always think about it, but I think their first priority is let's score. Let's put some points on the board. Let's not worry about the 4-minute offense yet. Let's try to get a rhythm going and make some yards. Let's get some points on the board like right now.
Kerwynn Williams might be able to do both in one fell swoop, and he will take it the distance. A 63-yard sprint for Williams. Good luck gate checking that crystal ball, Coach.
Yeah, well, like I said, think like a coach. The only thing I would have said is I wish he'd taken a little bit longer to score.
You can't run around like it's Tecmo Bowl.
I know. I thought maybe he should. I don't know. But no, they wanted a touchdown. They wanted to score points. They wanted to make that the 10 or 11-point margin that it's going to be.
Williams is the same man who coughed the ball up on the previous possession. And he takes it 63 yards.
You think maybe he thought he had something to prove after fumbling that ball? He was going to make sure that he didn't fumble it and he put it in the end zone.
Utah State didn't need much time. Who cares about the clock when you can put another 7 on the board? It's a 20-9 advantage for the Aggies out of the WAC.
Monday.
Utah State on top of Toledo 20-9. 6:57 to go in the fourth quarter. Kerwynn Williams now over 100 yards rushing.
And what great job and patience. And you see what happens when somebody tries to lay a block. The defense jumps out of the way. And then Kerwynn Williams finds that seam. And he's not going to fumble this time. He's going to finish this thing. Yeah, got fired up just a little bit there.
Oh, he's passed Terrence Mathis for the all-time record within the WAC for all-purpose yardage. After, well, one more WAC game remaining. That's about as irrelevant a record as you can hold, I suppose.
Well,
sorry, Terrence.
It ought to last for a while, though, right? Until they bring the WAC back.
That's right. No one will pass him. Reedy wants to bring it out.
And we need a Bernard Reedy response right here. Not going to get it.
He has to work hard to get it past the 15, out towards the 18. The Discover Orange Bowl is on ESPN New Year's night as Jordan Lynch and MAC champion Northern Illinois look to make a statement with their high-powered offense. They'll face the ACC champs Florida State with one of the top-rated and stingiest defenses in the nation. The Discover Orange Bowl, number 15 Northern Illinois versus number 12 Florida State. New Year's Day at 8:30 on ESPN. Also live on the Watch ESPN app and ESPN Radio.
Now a 2-possession deficit. I would look for Toledo to go a little bit more up-tempo here.
Owens. Incomplete. 2nd and 10. And for in the mood on the Toledo sideline, here's Quint.
Well, for the first time this afternoon, this Toledo team looks deflated. You think about how many things have not gone their way tonight. Dan Moll's injury on the opening kickoff. Their best running back, David Flone, hurt in the second quarter, and they've kept bouncing and bouncing back. But now, for the first time, they look a little deflated on the sideline.
Thanks, Quint. They've gotten a spark from Terrence Owens at quarterback. Pump and go one way, back to the other, tipped and nearly incomplete. Quint, is there any feeling that you have down on the sideline on why they took so long to get Terrence Owens into the game?
No, I don't know. I thought he warmed up well pregame. He was into the game. He stayed engaged. He was, focused and bouncing around. I did see him limp out of the locker room to start the third quarter. It looked like that ankle might have tightened up. So I was a little bit surprised when they put him in, but I have no idea why they didn't go to him any sooner, because he definitely did add a spark and add some energy.
He's thrown the ball. He's run the ball. He's caught the ball since entering here this quarter. And he's led Toledo to a scoring drive and twice take them into the red zone. Blitz coming from Davis. He gets past that and to the sideline, incomplete. Nevin Lawson was in coverage. Pasquale is the intended receiver.
You guys are absolutely right, too. Attitude and belief in yourself and the fact that you can do it. Toledo's been in a lot of close games this year. They've won some, they've lost some, but they've always fought to the end. They're not going to let down, but it's getting tougher now. Down 2 possessions with only 6.5 minutes to go.
So they put the game in the hands of the defense, punting it away. And remember, only 1 timeout remaining for Toledo after getting burned by the play clock and poor communication. Webb, fair catch at the 38. Utah State will try to salt this one away, leading by 11, 6:26 to go. Number 22, Utah State leading Toledo 20-9 with 6:26 remaining in this one from Boise. And Kerwynn Williams, a former wide receiver, has found a home in the backfield, and he's been fantastic this afternoon.
He struggled early. It was tough going. Didn't find a lot of big holes, but he had to work at it. Then, unfortunately, got a chance here late to salt the thing. Lost the football, put them in a huge situation, but he came back with a run for the ages. He said, I'm not going to get caught this time. I'm not going to give up the ball until I get in the end zone to the official.
63-yard run there for Kerwynn Williams, a senior from Las Vegas. 5'8", 189 pounds. 0 Division I offers coming out of high school. And here he is again. Stays on his feet and gets ripped down after picking up a 1.5 yards by Trent Voss.
Now you're probably going to see what we would call the 4-minute offense. Protect the edges with multiple tight ends, run the ball, stay in bounds, use up all the clock. If you have to throw high efficiency, low risk passes. And we'll see. They want to try and run as much clock as they can. They'd love to get some more points. But right now, with only 1 timeout, they want to run the clock.
Now the WAC's all-time leader in all-purpose yardage. More than 6,800 for Kerwynn Williams. Returner, running back, wide receiver. A little bit of everything for the senior from Vegas. And here he is again. Williams has room. Kerwynn Williams is going to bust another one. Got a man to beat. And a beautiful cutback, and he's tripped up inside the 5 by Trent Voss. Another monster run in the 4th quarter for Williams. This one for 56.
Great job of following his blocking. Great job of blocking, as we can see. So it's a counter type play. Great cross block there, and he's off to the races. One guy's furiously running him down, does a great job of cutting back right there, then tries to cut back and just, really, just barely is tripped up. Great effort.
We'll see if they give it to Williams to pay it off now. 1st and goal. Late sub on the field for the Aggies. Play clock at 2, and they'll use a timeout.
Once again, they sort of shot my 4-minute stuff right out of the tubes.
30-second timeout.
Former conference rivals square off Thursday on ESPN as BYU's 5th-ranked scoring defense looks to put the wraps on San Diego State's explosive ground game in the San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl. Capital One Bowl Week, Thursday at 8 on ESPN. BYU San Diego State is also live on the Watch ESPN app. Rocky Long against Bronco Mendenhall in that one. Bronco used to be on Rocky's staff. They also coached together coming up at Oregon State. I don't know if that's a throwback Mountain West game now that BYU's independent, but it's close with San Diego State off to the Big East.
And those are 2 very, very good coaches. I've gone against them many times, and they are as fine a coaches as there are in college football.
Utah State will join BYU's old conference next season, headed to the Mountain. Kerwynn Williams. And he's still churning. He's in. Phil Lewis just got pushed right into the end zone
with a little help from my friends.
Second touchdown of the day for Kerwynn Williams.
Great job of keeping his legs driving and then allowing the rest of the pack to catch up with him. And they just rugby scrum that ball into the end zone.
Kerwynn Williams has needed to put on some weight, so he did it with a double-decker peanut butter and jelly sandwich over the years. That's right. 2 sandwiches in one. He calls it the Kerwich. And that time, that extra weight and muscle helped pay off. Maybe a bit of a Bush push at the end of this one as well from the offensive line.
They're just pushing the pile, though. They didn't grab him. They just pushed that whole pile into the end zone. And a great job of blocking up front. I mean, he's untouched through the line of scrimmage. And he does a great job keeping his balance. And then they just flat out push that whole thing in.
A school record 10 wins coming into today for Utah State. And head coach Gary Anderson, WAC Coach of the Year. And a finalist for the Eddie Robinson Coach of the Year. Last year, he took Utah State to their first bowl since 1997. And they're back, and they continue on the upswing. And there's no reason to think with some of this young talent, especially a sophomore quarterback, that they can't continue this.
No, they're having great recruiting seasons. They're being welcomed very well, not just in the state of Utah, but across the nation now.
The pooch kick finds the blue turf. Toledo hasn't covered it yet, and now they fall on it. Dwight Macon covers it for the Rockets. We've talked about him a lot here in the fourth quarter. Well, once again, Kerwynn Williams.
He's gone. It's just a question. If he finds the seam, he has the finishing speed. He's got the toughness that you need to break arm tackles. Get stopped here, but then he just says, heck with this. Put my head down. I'm going to wait for the posse to help me get in there.
Second highest rush total of the season for Kerwynn Williams with 178 yards on the ground. Opener against Colorado State, he went for 205. Pass on the run as they've changed quarterbacks. Austin Danton back in the game. Completes it to Justin Olak. Here's our Capital One player of the game, Kerwynn Williams, 16 carries, 178 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 big runs when they needed him the most late in the fourth quarter. Danton again to throw. Into coverage, picked off. Another takeaway. It's Brian Sweet this time.
He was trying to throw the back shoulder throw, and the safety read it. Very difficult, because in order to have any chance in this game, Toledo was going to have to take some shots and connect on some shots. You can see the ball being thrown here, that back shoulder. Not a good placement on the ball. Probably not a good idea. Very good heads-up defense, though.
Brian Sweet's first interception of the season for the sophomore from Honolulu. Out of Punahou High School, same high school as Manti Te'o, Mosi Tatupu, Norm Chow, and a guy by the name of Barack Obama.
Did he play football?
Not that I know of.
He might have played basketball.
He may have played hoops. Not sure if he played varsity, but he may have played hoops. Here's Hill on the right side. And if it wasn't for Brian Sweet, as flags come in late, the defensive coordinator Dave Aranda may not be on this Utah State staff. He met Gary Anderson at a camp down in Hawaii when they were down looking at Sweet and some others, including Elvis Kamanamatagi on the Utah State defensive line. You never know where that break's going to come when you're going to meet your next boss.
After the play, personal foul, defense, number 29. That player has been ejected. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And that's not how Jermaine Robinson wanted his career to come to an end. With 4:14 left, ejected from this game.
No, and he's been a great player, and unfortunately sometimes frustration takes over in a game like this when you've been so close and then it just gets out of hand.
Robinson, first team all-conference safety. Kerwynn Williams again. Kerwynn Williams again. Touchdown, Aggies.
Maybe they should have run the 4-minute offense the entire game. They scored 3 touchdowns in a very short period of time, running the football. But they are certainly giving it to the right guy. Kerwynn Williams is hot right now. He says, feed me, give me the football, block for a while. I'll find the hole. In fact, I'll find the end zone.
Here's a running back that sat behind Robert Turbin for 3 years. Got his opportunity to start this season, and he's going to finish on a high note. (34-9) here in Boise with 3:41 to go. Now let's check in with Chris Cotter.
Tom, we got a couple of really good basketball games on ESPN. At the top of the hour, the first one from the Barclays Center, Juwan Staten in West Virginia taking on the third-ranked team in the country, Michigan. And with a win, Michigan could move up with Indiana's loss. Now back to the blue turf.
Chris, thanks. 22, Utah State with a monster performance here on their way to their 11th win of the season. School record in victories, their first ever 6-0 conference records, and an undefeated outright conference title for the first time since they were RMAC champs in 1936. The Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference in the 30s. They also got their first road win against a ranked opponent by knocking off La Tech in a game that essentially decided the league. Their two toughest league games came on the road, Louisiana Tech and San Jose State. Reedy has room, and here he goes. Bernard Reedy. We're waiting for a spark, and here it is.
Just a matter of time. You kick it to him too often, he gets his hands on the ball, he's going to find a way to score.
Bernard Reedy takes it 87 yards. That's his third kickoff return for a touchdown this season.
Offside.
I think we need to
Kicking team number 29
for an onside kick.
Penalties decline. Touchdown.
Reedy got a great block.
That was a decleater. When you see somebody leave the ground after being blocked, that's what they call a decleater.
And that was Dan Moll's spot on the kickoff return team, but he was only out there for one play today. 2-point conversion attempt. Late subs on for Utah State. And Terrence Owens back at quarterback. Owens to the end zone, drops. Alonzo Russell has had 2 big drops today. And he's also been bothered by some cramps.
Right there for the taking. Just could not, took his eyes off, didn't look it all the way into his hands.
And so extra attention as they try to stretch out that left calf.
And I would assume, as we talked about, we're going to see an onside kick. It's the only opportunity is to keep possession of the football and to score on shot plays. As we saw last game, when the onside kick was recovered by the kicking team, it's anything, it's up for grabs. It's the bounce of the ball. You have to have your best hands people out there.
First-year head coach Matt Campbell, just 33 years old, took over last year before the bowl game. Was the interim head coach for a matter of a couple of days. Your first head coaching job came at a similar age to Matt Campbell. What are the challenges as a younger head coach?
Well, I think it's coaching your coaches if some of them are older than you, and that usually is the case. It's also sometimes having players believe that you have the maturity and the experience to lead and to make the right decisions. It's just earning people's respect, which is the same in any profession. I think the age barrier is less of a factor now. I think they realize, I think more people realize that if you can coach, it doesn't matter how old you are. If you've been a coordinator, you can be a head coach, because really coordinators now are head coaches of their own side of the football.
And Matt Campbell said that's one thing that Tim Beckman allowed him to do as the coordinator the last couple of years, was to handle his side of the ball. It's a young staff all the way around. The oldest coach is just 41 years old. Onside attempt for Toledo. There's the hop. And corralled, but out of bounds. They're going to give it to him.
Hard to tell. If he got his foot down and had possession, it would go, but if it went out of bounds, it goes the other way.
Robert Bell hauled it in with a fantastic effort on the sideline. It's Toledo football.
Wow, that was a great kick. That big hop occurred right where it would come down on the sideline. Just watch it right there. That went over the top. Got it.
The onside kick was recovered by the kicking team. First down.
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if that's reviewed. I think that may be overturned. He has to have possession before any part of his body comes down out of bounds.
First down.
Right,
the ruling on the field is under further review.
Yeah. It looked as if his elbow out of bounds was the first thing to touch down once he had possession of the ball. He transfers it from one hand to the other, and if they gave him possession at that point, it looks like his legs or feet might be in right there. And if he controls that, and that may be, they may have said that his toes were inbounds as he controls the ball. You see right there, his feet are inbounds. And it stays in that arm. I thought he traded it. He did not. So I could see them giving it to him. The official right there has a great view of it.
You know who we need?
In order to overturn it, you have to have irrefutable evidence. Is that correct?
Indisputable, irrefutable.
I never get that word right. Yeah, I know, it is. It is.
Sometimes they get picky with the language. You know who we should ask about this is Bruce Bain's mother. Bruce Bain is a replay official. I talked to him before the game. He said, after every game, I get a call from my mom, and she always tells me when I mess something up. He goes, she should be in the booth making the calls because she knows better than I do.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, Toledo.
You know, I've got a mom like that, too. She gives me a lot of advice after the games.
So Toledo, with 3:28 to go, has shuffled quarterbacks over the last couple of possessions, and they're going to come back with Terrence Owens here. A touchdown and an extra point makes it an 11. A two-point conversion makes it an 11-point game. Before that kick return from Reedy, you said no chance. Now all of a sudden, in the wacky bowl season, who knows? Over the middle and bobbled before being hauled in only a few yards in that grab by Bernard Reedy.
The receivers tend to be trying to run before they catch the ball, and the passes have been there. You got to do a better job of looking them in.
Owens facing a blitz over the middle. Reedy again incomplete. Maybe heard footsteps. You know, that's where Reedy has been so good over the course of the season, is making plays and getting yards after the catch, especially on crossing routes.
Yeah, he was an outside receiver last year. They moved him inside to the slot, and it is a different deal going against safeties and linebackers and having to find the ball through windows rather than being more one-on-one on the outside.
3rd and 7. All of the Aggies are standing up on the defensive line.
Yeah, who do you block? Who comes, that's who will block.
They bring 4, another zone blitz to the screen, and they get it out to Pascal, and he is short of the first down by 2 yards. So 4th and 2, and Toledo will keep the offense on the field, obviously.
Yeah, the world is 4-down territory now for Toledo.
Short of first down, tackle makes the tackle for the Aggies.
Toledo putting up good numbers on the season, 53% on 4th down conversions. I got stopped on the goal line on a 4th. Stopped in the red zone on a 4th and 1. To the slant, incomplete. Trying to get it back to Reedy once again. 2:24 to go. Toledo with only 1 timeout remaining.
That should, barring a turnover, in some way cement this victory, but you never know in these kind of games with explosive offenses. But that's frustrating, you know, that you have a guy open, you go to him and can't quite corral that big 4th down catch.
Kerwynn Williams has 178 yards rushing in the second half. He's next to Chucky Keaton. Keep feeding him. Another Kerwich and another big one. Kerwynn Williams off to the races again. Madison finally brings him down.
I think one of the things that we have to mention right now is the loss of Dan Moles. And I'm not saying he would have made a tackle on any of the big runs, but certainly he is their best tackler, their best defender, leading tackler in the nation. Without him in the middle, they're much more porous a defense.
First 3 quarters, he was averaging just a hair over 3 yards a carry. Now he's blown up 7 for 198. Runs of 63, 25, both for touchdowns, 56 and 32, both inside the 25. Kerwynn Williams again. Here, pardon me, this is Joe Hill, and Hill gets in on the fun. And Joe Hill finds the end zone. What's he doing taking the ball from Kerwynn Williams?
I think Quint Kesnick hit it right on the head about 2 series ago. I think that the Toledo Rockets, despite they've been tough all day today, but in the 4th quarter they lost their stinger a little bit, and it doesn't take much because Utah State's a very motivated football team. They want to run the ball, but I don't think we're getting the same look from this Toledo defense that we saw in the first 3 quarters.
Diaz punches it through. Utah State capping off a tremendous season. Ranked for 3 straight weeks in the AP poll for the first time in school history. They'll finish the season ranked. And the victory today will tie the team from 1962 for the winningest senior class in school history under head coach Gary Anderson. Tough trip for Toledo, but they won the bowling competition on Tuesday. Reedy already has 1 return for a touchdown. A pause may give him some room, but he is surrounded. And so this season we say goodbye to the Western Athletic Conference as a football league instituted in 1962, and boy did they have some offensive players. McMahon and Young with a national title for BYU in the early 80s. Marshall Faulk down in San Diego, LaDainian Tomlinson, and then on the back end Boise State came into the league, and boy did they make some noise.
75-4. Just, you know, minor.
When you know,
Kellen Moore, what a winning percentage he had.
When you think about the WAC, you think of those wild, I think of those wild and crazy BYU bowl games playing out in San Diego and those big wins. Great job Kellen Moore did, the Fiesta Bowl win against Oklahoma and many more. We say goodbye to the WAC, and we say hello once again to Chris Cotter.
Tom, we are just minutes away from Michigan and West Virginia. That's Trey Burke right there, the All-American, leads the Wolverines in scoring, assists, and steals, and he'll look to get them to 11-0. They can beat West Virginia tonight on ESPN, just moments away.
All right, thanks, Chris. John Beilein against the Mountaineers. Should be interesting. 41-15 here. A minute to go from Boise. To the perimeter and heading out of bounds on the completion from Terrence Owens. Jimmy Davidson with his first grab of the night.
Toledo now trying to finish this game on a positive note. I know they're going to lose the game, but you take some things into the offseason for your players by how we finished that last drive. This has got to be the thing we build on. Not just the bowling trophy.
Danton pressured and dropped as Utah State is able to get to the quarterback, Kerwynn Williams, with his 6th sack of the season. Coming up next, college basketball. 3rd-ranked Michigan at home at Chrysler taking on West Virginia. Trophy ceremony will be live on ESPN3.
Please stand your welcome on time court zone.
Toledo will punt it away. And that's the end of the game. And the famous Idaho Potato Bowl belongs to the Aggies of Utah State. So for Quint Kesnick and Mike Blotti, our entire ESPN crew, I'm Tom Hart. A thriller here today. Don't forget the trophy celebration is coming up next live on ESPN3. But for now, we take you to John Sciambi and Bill Raftery with the call of West Virginia against 3rd-ranked Michigan in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. 41-15, Utah State with its 11th win.